So, come with me. I'll take you home.
But I want to go to Pentagon. Oh, bro, that spine augment is nuts. Yo, that's all of your mom's boyfriends and her. Never mind.
Left, the end of the corridor. I will wait there.
Yo, this is your mom's vagina every Saturday night. Oh man. Oh man. Oh! Hey, I'm just walking around. Relax. Relax, okay, Bubby?
Galaxy Ranger Acheron. This is what they call me. You can call me whatever you want.
Okay, I'll call you mommy.
Open this door. Take a look at the mesmerizing dreamscape.
Oh. This is so cool!
No, this way.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yep, I'm ready, baby. Let's go.
After you. Am I supposed to
Oh, okay.
How is this even possible? Why not? She can hear the thoughts in my head?
Bro.
Why not?
Okay, I ain't gonna lie. Homies. This hurt my brain. This make my brain hurt. Oh my god, everyone's here right off the bat? Sam? Aventurine?
We're almost there. You still walk?
Sunday Robin? I feel fucked up, bro. This actually hurts my brain.
Don't panic. This is normal.
Okay?
Don't stop. Don't turn back. Don't look down. Or
Yeah, you got it, mommy. Looking up. Oh, I fucked up. I'm gonna puke. What?
These voices. They're just shadows of the dreamscape.
What the fuck are you doing here? I thought I got rid of this bitch. Right. This little fucking rat here, dude. Not again. All right, Sam, what up?
How do you intend to pull them off the stage?
What does Sam sound like?
All we have to do is present the truth. They will naturally reciprocate.
He sounds so cool. Oh my god, he's so badass. Okay, he's a must pull. He's a must pull. He's a must pull. Oh my god. Yo.
The Charmony Festival stage belongs only to you.
Oh my god, I'm so happy right now. This is so good.
But if I can't sing, what meaning does the stage have?
That's a good point. Okay. Doctor ratios in our future, boys. Hell yeah. Anybody who poses like that in a Genshin Impact game is always a little shit. So I bet you Aventurine's gonna be a little shit fucker.
Ah, the charming audacity. To think that you, of all people, might emerge victorious, dear gambler.
3 chips are enough. All or nothing.
Oh, bro, he gotta be fruity. He gotta be. Yo, dude, Hanabi, bro. Yo.
Memo Keeper, do you think you can just sing?
Bro, she sounds adorable.
I'm sorry. The dance partner of my choice. I've already chosen.
Right here, it's me. Letting you know. It is me, by the way. Just letting you guys know. That is me. Okay? That's me and her. So we are exclusive. I want to let you know that you are not allowed to talk to her. Bro, what the fuck is going on with my brain?
We're here.
Okay.
Welcome to the
Oh my god.
Experience an unforgettable holiday.
My day's ruined.
If you need help checking out
Farina, I thought you were in Fontaine, bro. Why are you here?
This realm and rise as you would on any other day. Forget this fortuitous encounter and return.
내가 돕게 해줘.
Okay.
But before you do, I
Yep.
would make a request.
만물을
What's up?
비추리. 햇빛을 감으로.
What's up, baby?
You may think it's somewhat strange, perhaps even rude, but I wish to know.
Yep.
내가 돕게 해줘.
Have we met somewhere before?
수호와 방위를 위해 격파하라.
Shit in Genshin Impact, I guess. Why is that shit in red?
만물을 비추리.
I mean,
상아가 밥그리.
what does that mean? Why is it in red?
햇빛을
What does that mean?
내가 돕게 해줘. 만물을
What's
비추리.
going on?
햇빛을 감으로.
Revoke memories of an old friend. In the haze of my recollections, she stood shoulder to shoulder,
Why is it red?
much like this surreal dreamscape where we stood
내가
close,
돕게 해줘.
forever out of reach.
Okay.
May I ask you a few more questions? I tend to forget things, which is why, rather than memories, I'm accustomed to using my emotions to
만물을
capture what I
비추리.
normally wouldn't otherwise. The answer is
Okay.
inconsequential.
햇빛을
Your
감으로.
spontaneous reaction is what matters.
What does it all mean?
하나가 그리라.
내가 돕게 해줘.
Why was the
For
text
instance,
red?
수호와 방위를 위해
Why is she so
Several
fine?
names. Are they your companions? Family? Enemies?
Yeah.
You seem to have forged
내가 돕게 해줘.
unbreakable bonds with many people and many incidents.
햇빛을 감으로.
Might I ask if you
만물을
fear
비추리.
losing those bonds?
Yeah.
내가 돕게 해줘.
I cannot bear such a fear. If it means losing them, I would. I feel no fear. If it means that I would disappear, I would. I don't know.
만물을 비추리.
If it means losing them, I would. What is honestly.
인간의 몫이다.
If there was a vast
내가
dreamscape,
돕게 해줘.
so lifelike it's indistinguishable from reality.
수호와 방위를 위해
There, no one
격파하라.
faces life's separations or deaths. Everyone attains their deserved happiness and lives joyfully ever after.
내가 돕게 해줘.
All right.
I would
That
ask,
햇빛을
sounds
감으로.
nice.
would you wish to stay?
I wouldn't go down to the
만물을
cost.
비추리.
I would never want to live in a dream. That depends on the price I'd have to pay. If I didn't have to pay any price, I would. I mean, low key, that sounds awesome.
내가 돕게 해줘.
Yeah, I'm down.
Now, imagine if this splendid dream were fated to fall apart. Friends, family, strangers, followed by the gentle breeze, soaring birds, the stars, and ultimately yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone and every face they remember. The joy, the heartaches,
만물을
the
비추리.
vows sealed and those left hanging.
햇빛을 감으로.
All will inevitably march towards a predetermined ending. If you would
하나가
grasp
그리라.
the journey's
인간의
finality
몫이다.
in its inception, I would
내가
ask,
돕게 해줘.
would you still embark on this journey?
수호와 방위를 위해 격파하라.
I would blaze a trail without hesitation.
내가 돕게 해줘.
I know this is hard. You don't have to be hard pressed to make.
햇빛을 감으로.
As I have said, the answer is inconsequential.
Okay.
Hearing, touch, thought. Through these you gain emotions. Cherish them. With emotions. And so we return to the original question. I would ask, do you still remember me?
I remember you.
I understand. How interesting. For a split second, it felt like countless versions of you, alike yet distinct, gave entirely different responses. That was my final question. Thank you. We all have our paths to walk. So we shall bid our
I've never been more invested in a story in my whole life. Bro, this is so fucking peak. Okay. What does this all mean?
The golden dream is getting restless.
Yep.
In the coming nights of long, I'm afraid,
What
we'll
does it
face
all
many
mean?
tribulations and witness many tragedies. And finally, your sight will only see black and white. But please believe me that in that monochrome world, there will be a glimpse of fleeting red. And when you make a choice, it will reappear before you once more.
Okay.
What you must do now is ponder its significance.
What the fuck?
And then you can return to the waking world.
Bro, why is she so fine?
That's where we all find our answers.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, oh, she's crying. No, 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 no.
What's wrong? Why are you crying all of a sudden?
Oh my god, they called me a mint picker. Okay. Jesus, bro. I dreamed of a Riddler.
Sounds like you had a nightmare.
Yeah.
We just arrived in Astana already. Be careful. Use your tolerance to Memoria is the strongest. Don't fret. Dreams are often the reverse of reality. While you were sleeping, the express arrived at Penacony.
Hey, we're there, boys.
Yesterday's grim frontier prison is today's lavish hotel.
It's so cool.
We should gear up and make sure you got everything. Step out. She's waiting for you there.
Hey, you got it, Pom Pom.
Is
Shall we?
Mary still packing her luggage?
Yup. Oh, man. Yo.
You're up? How's your prep going? Well, beat us to the punch. But I stuck around for you. Let's get going.
Shall we?
Shall we go meet up with them now?
Yeah. Let's go.
Penacony, planet of festivities. The universe's biggest and fanciest amusement park awaits.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh my god. It looks so good.
Oh, we're here at last. The family sure doesn't play around with their entry protocol. Our bags probably know what it feels like to be a celebrity now with all that attention. I wouldn't have put it past them to try and nab that Stellaron from inside you.
Yep.
Aside from that, I have to say the family has been really accommodating.
Yep.
Well, the hassle was worth it. Just look at this grand hotel lobby. And those endless rows. They're all rooms, right? Just
It's a
think of the
giant
number of
prison,
guests
man.
Staying here.
Transformed into a hotel. That's insane.
Come on. Mr. Yang and the rest must be at the front desk. Let's hurry up and meet them there.
Let's go! Who's that?
Welcome to the Reverie. May you experience
Oh my
an
God.
unforgettable holiday. If you need help checking in, please head straight to the concierge.
Bro, his eyes look so cool though, man. Damn. It's the child from the dream. It's the child from the dream.
I'm Misha, a bellboy working
Yep.
here on Penacony. Pleased to be at your service.
Yep.
If you need help with your baggage...
Yeah,
over
my
here.
mom left me when I was a kid.
Something's not right.
Oh, you mean my
Should
stuff?
you need
Okay.
assistance with moving luggage to your room,
Yeah.
feel free to contact me. Please, go ahead. Don't keep your friend waiting.
I won't. Let's go, baby. Hey, Jing Liu. I'ma miss you, girl.
Hey, what's the big gathering at the concierge about? We've just arrived and there's already drama?
Hey, man, if you thought this was drama, you should have seen 4.4, brother.
I'm sorry, but your name really isn't in the system.
What's that about?
But in the information I received from the Astral Express, it states that we already reserved rooms. Please, check again for me.
Yes, ma'am. Please give me a moment.
Okay.
The Astral Express for Platinum guest rooms, whose names include Mr. Welt Yang, Miss Himiko, Miss March 7th, and Mr. Don Hung. These are the only 4 names on the reservation list.
Don Hung? What?
Don Hung.
Why?
I understand. No wonder our friend's name here is missing. When we responded to the family's invitation, she hadn't even arrived on the express.
Damn, we've been waffling for 8 months,
Something
brother?
came up in Don Hung's schedule, and he couldn't make it. I have an idea. Could you reassign his room? It's still the same number of people.
She's a new passenger aboard our Astral Express. We can vouch for her status.
Okay.
Even if that is so, I'm afraid.
Ooh. Yo, peep my lance.
No, I'm not doubting your status.
It's just what? It's because I'm white, right?
Well, it's just that right now, we're on the eve of the Charmony Festival. Penacony's most important moment of every era.
He's actually
And
really
with the
fucking
family's
sexy.
invite, all guests from all over the cosmos have thronged this place.
He is actually
Hotel
sexy as
security
fuck.
is on high alert with 0.
I ain't
room
even
for
gay,
error.
bro, but goddamn,
And
eventually
with
looks fine
such
as
a
fuck.
Last-minute change. It really isn't something that this young lady's words can resolve on a whim.
He looks like Jorno, bro.
My esteemed guests from the Astral Express, please do not make it harder for her.
I won't. Don't worry, baby.
We're sorry for all the trouble our check-in seems to have caused. May
Yep.
I ask for your name?
Tangerine.
I am the humble aventurine of the IPC Strategic Investment Department, a non-performing asset liquidation specialist and subordinate to Supervisor Diamond.
Oh my god.
I was cordially invited by the watchmaker.
Who's that?
I also happen to be a traveler that's had to stand behind you for quite a while.
What do you mean by that?
Leave it to me.
What does he mean by that?
I've heard that the IPC has also received Penacony's invitation, so forgive me if I'm mistaken, but you must be the representative. The IPC's elite certainly does have an extraordinary air about them.
Yeah, they
I
do.
suppose such an exceptional figure such as yourself wouldn't mind paving a convenience for us?
Yeah, hook me up.
I must be hearing things.
Or I'll say that you're
Paving
racist
a
on social media.
convenience. Shouldn't I be saying this to you instead?
Why would you say that?
I've been waiting here for more than 10 minutes. Do you know how many credits 10 minutes is worth to me?
He's so fruity. 8K.
Which is why now,
인간의
Mr.
몫이다.
Adventuring, I have an investment that you absolutely cannot miss out on.
Okay.
The IPC's influence runs deep and wide, and their word wields the utmost authority.
Uh-huh.
We hope to borrow your status to vouch for her.
Okay.
As such, you won't just be spending much of your invaluable time, but also forging new friendships.
Sounds good to me.
Well, this is interesting. And how will my new friends benefit me?
Shit, I don't know.
This is a topic. Just as weird.
I have no idea. I can hit shit, I guess.
Comfortable in Penacony before getting to know each other more elaborately.
You wanna eat pom-pom?
Sounds good.
Oh.
But, Miss Navigator, I must point out that if I do something about it now, the time saved is from my own effort. Favor from you.
So is this dude gay or is he European?
But, let me say, I loved it. Friends, yes. Nothing is more precious than friends. Especially a righteous trailblazer like a nameless. Going forward on this Penacony trip, I'll be counting on all my trailblazer friends. Looking forward to a delightful time with you.
I'm glad you're good at this. So about the batching.
There you go, miss. Please allow her to check in on me. I have an appointment with the family's Mr. Sunday. I will ask him to handle this matter later. Don't worry. I won't cause you any trouble.
Ali, just a moment.
Oh,
The family
shit.
cannot allow guests to enter a dream while bearing burden.
Oh, speak of the devil. Look who's here.
Oh, bro, they look so good. He looks like such a bad guy.
Along with a singer renowned across the universe, Robin.
Like, bro was pure evil to me.
I said you were the most dashing person in Penacony. How interesting.
Oh, bro, she looks so good. Oh my god.
I've kept you waiting, Mr. Aventurine. This way, please.
Okay.
Let us speak in private.
Shall we?
Astral Express guest. Please come this way.
I would love to.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, but are you
Robin?
the singer, Epsilon Superstar? If I can stop one heart from breaking, that's our song, isn't it? Never thought a cutie like yourself would be a fan of mine.
Why is her voice so fucking weird?
It really is, Robin.
She sounds like half robot, half human.
Person here. It is an honor to meet everyone.
Am I nuts?
Are you also a member of the family on Penacony like him?
Truth be told, I'm the best as ever. Penacony is a fun town, but I rocked when I was older. I was graciously invited this time to return and sing a song at the festival. The person you speak of is Sunrise, and one of the local leaders. He is also the organizer of the Dream Festival.
Okay.
He heard you all ran into difficulties and sent me here to provide aid.
Wow, so nice.
I arrived a little later. Sincerely apologize for any unpleasantness during your stay.
We've been here for like 3 seconds. Dude, her voice sounds
Please,
robotic.
be at ease. I have instructed
Why she
Miss
sounds so
Ali to
different?
resolve the system error as soon as possible.
What's wrong with her?
Also upgraded your rooms as token compensation.
What is wrong with her?
Wait a moment for the hotel to arrange for suitable accommodation.
Okay.
Mr. Aventurine has an appointment with the Oath family and has checked in prior. On his behalf, I extend his apologies to everyone of the Astral Express and wish for an amicable partnership moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you for stepping in to resolve this matter.
Then shall we?
But are you sure about the rooms? I wouldn't want your other guests to feel we were being given preferential treatment.
Please, rest assured that the family will personally undertake communications to handle this. It is only right that we, as the actual administrators, relieve you of any problems during your visit in Penacony.
Fuck yeah.
I apologize for taking up everyone's precious time, and we shan't keep you any longer. If you need anything else while in Penacony, the family stands ready to serve.
Why does that sound so ominous?
May your dreams be beautiful and pleasant.
No, I'm telling you, there's something sus about Robin. I'm telling you, there's something sus. There's something sus 100%.
One surprise after another. But since that Mr. Which day was he? Sunday. Since Mr. Sunday's vouched for us, I guess we can finally check in normally?
Good. Let's go.
You and me
You'll have to wait for us to finish checking in first. Okay, there's no queue in the lobby now. Let's go find Miss Allie.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Let me check something real quick. So far, it seems pretty good. Let me just upload something real quick. Let me go. Let me just edit something real quick. Is there somebody yet? Nah, I'm doing that tomorrow at 10 a.m. CST. Let me call this part 1. And let me check. Have the leakers put a Black Swan guide yet? Yes, they have. There's exactly what I'm looking for. Boys, our favorite guide maker made a video. Now, I understand to some of you guys, Braxophone's videos might make you uncomfortable because he's so creepy. But we're going to have to get through that, right? We're going to have to get through that, right? We'll deal with it, though. I mean, he might even make a joke or two, which just makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Let's see what Brax thinks about Black Swan. She better be OP because I'm rolling for her. I am rolling for her immediately today.
Atomic Bomb was known as one of the most...
I can't, bro. The vibes are off. Anyways.
Destructive
Okay, I'm done.
in the entire world. For many years, people lived in fear of this deadly weapon. Its explosive power is roughly the equivalent of 15,000 tons of TNT.
Okay,
this
death
would
battle.
later be surpassed, though, by the hydrogen bomb, which could yield a result of roughly 100 million tons of TNT.
That's a lot of tons.
Which could basically create Skyblock survival all by itself. But the hydrogen bomb is far from the scariest weapon around because it only contains about 1/10 of the explosive power that results from Black Swan's midriff. Now that Black Swan is released, another piece of Exodia has been added to the tall, hot women team.
Dude, how the fuck Black Swan got the biggest tits, the biggest ass, and then people talk about her belly button? Am I nuts for that? I feel like, bruh, you know, there's all these weird-ass fetishes these days, like armpits and poop and feet, you know? Like, bro, just look at the boobs. Like, come on, man. Are we nuts here?
And today, I'm going to be going over how to build and play one of the most complex characters in Honkai Star Rail.
Why you say that?
These types of videos let YouTube know it doesn't suck by liking, and also feel free to subscribe as well. With all that being said, my name is Braxophone, and let's talk about Black Swan.
Wait, why is she so hard? Is it because of the weird, like, Fortuna stacks?
Rocket Moon Girl is hard and easy to understand at the same time. It's hard to understand her kit since it's the most convoluted thing in the entire game, but it's easy to understand why you ended up on all fours. Because her kit is longer than a Yu-Gi-Oh card in 2024,
Dude, what happened to Yu-Gi-Oh, man? Dude, I remember back in my day, we had a card called Man-Eater Bug, which was flip the card, kill a card. And then we had a card called Blue Eyes White Dragon, strongest card in the game, and it had 3,000 attack. And now these new Gen 52 Yu-Gi-Oh cards where it says, put this card in the metaverse zone, flip a coin, check your pocket watch, and if it lands on heads on the 7th moon of that day, rob your opponent's social security number and set their house on fire. Like, what happened to the game?
I'm just gonna leave this here so that you can pay attention.
Thanks.
Black Swan's basically a damage over time nuke, meaning that she has damage over time that makes an enemy explode on their turn, which is relatable because when I see Black Swan, I also explode. Her dot is called Arcana, and it stacks with itself to deal more damage up to 50 stacks. Think of it like STDs. It can't be removed or cleansed even when the boss phase changes, and it ignores resistance to debuffs while counting as a wind shear dot.
Well, your STDs can't be removed? Shit, bro. Hey, y'all need to DM your mom about something real quick.
Goal is to give every enemy on the other side STDs, or stackable talent damage. Her talent goes into even more detail, so I'll just go ahead and leave this here too. Every time an enemy takes damage over time, they have a base chance to get Arcana, and when you have 3 or more Arcana stacks and it triggers, it'll hit adjacent enemies as well. If you get up to 7 stacks, it ignores 20% of defense.
That's so cool.
Which is canon, by the way, because I would also let Black Swan infiltrate my defenses on cooldown. With one of her traces, she allows friendly units that trigger a dot to add more Arcana stacks up to 3 times per attack. And what's awesome is things like Kafka skill and Sambo E4 don't reset the Arcana stacks on an enemy, so you're able to trigger dots. That she doesn't have to have split scaling issues, and she can hit massive damage. And the only thing funnier than massive exploding wind damage is whatever this is. So now that you sort of know how Arcana works, I can actually start talking about
She's so fun.
Her basic attack is actually the most complex basic attack in the game, so let's just...
I think Black Swan is now the #1 most sexiest character in all of Oyoverse. She is hotter than Kafka. We'll see if I stand by that in a month. Recency bias goes crazy for me right now.
The basic attack can apply 1 Arcana to enemies and has an extra base chance to add 1 more stack of Arcana for every dot type on the enemy. So up to 4 extra stacks. All of these base chances activate on their own. They're all independent of each other. But with that said, unless you're in Simulated Universe, you're probably not going to have every single type of damage over time up all the time.
Of course.
And also, if an enemy has Arcana on them, that counts as wind shear. So you're also getting that chance for the extra stack every single time. You'll end up using her basic attack probably more often than not. Her skill is probably what you'll end up starting off with, though, since it's a blast wind damage with 100% base chance to add Arcana and
so she's
also
really
lower
skill point
enemy
friendly.
defense. Her skill trace gives her the same effect as her basic attack, where you have a chance to gain bonus Arcana stacks for every single different dot type on an enemy. So basically, you want to stack up a bunch of Arcana using other dots and Black Swan's kit just to make it blow up for massive wind damage. That's the entire thing behind her kit. Her ultimate also helps a fair bit as well because it gives enemies a vulnerability for 2 of their turns and makes Arcana stacks count as every type of dot. So when you use her basic attack or skill, you have a chance to apply an extra Arcana for every kind of dot no matter what. Once per ultimate, Arcana also won't reset to 1 stack after it blows up. Oh, and also it does AoE wind damage. I kind of forgot because I was too hyperfixated on her massive personality. Lastly, her technique applies Arcana stacks and keeps applying an Arcana stack until it fails to add 1, with each chance getting a little bit lower. Usually this means about 3 Arcana stacks from her technique with a complete build, but like my financial state, it's pretty random. Ultimately, the only thing harder than Black Swan is the people who play her, but once you get her down, she's an incredibly powerful character.
This is what I mean when I say Braxophone guides are second to none, man. They are actually so good. That shit is so out of pocket. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw Black Swan, I haven't felt that whimsical feeling in so long. I do think she is one of the best design units ever, man. And the way she sits there when she's floating around, oh my god. Hey, another Google Doc. Yeah, I remember the last time one of those was released. Speaking of a massive nuke that Black Swan can do, that one also set off a nuke.
For talent priority, I'd recommend going for her talent and her skill first, but her ultimate and basic attack are also going to want to be leveled in the end, so you're going to get them all up.
We're maxing all?
Just like...
Oh no!
With Black Swan revolving around fate and cards, you'd expect her kit to have some RNG, but it's basically a non-issue if you build her right. The only problem is, your relics suck. The best slot relic set for Black Swan is the prisoner set used for most dot characters, since it gives an attack buff as well as defense ignore. In a worst case scenario, you can combine 2-piece wind damage bonus, attack percent, and speed sets,
I don't need that.
4-piece prisoner is undeniably the best set. As for planar sets, Pangalactic is best due to its effect hit rate bonus and attack scaling based on effect hit, but Glamoth and Space Healing Station are actually pretty okay. For main stats, you'll want an effect hit or attack percent body, speed or attack boots, wind damage or attack orb, and an attack rope to maximize her damage. Wait, give me a second. Ideally, you'll be able to get to at least 120% effect hit rate to get some solid damage bonus and land more Arcana stacks. And if you can somehow get there without an effect hit rate body, then attack percent body is better. And as for speed, because she wants to hit enemies between their turns, where her dot will trigger and reset stacks, usually you want to make Black Swan as fast as possible. For endgame content, a lot of enemies have been
Alright, so 120% effect hit rate, so you do the max damage, and then as much attack percent and speed as possible. Okay, and so we want 155 speed? Oh, she better have a fucking ridiculous a ridiculous amount of base speed.
Alked at 158 speed, and accounting for a break, that would be roughly -4 for them, so that would put them at effectively 154 speed in the turn order. So if you make Black Swan 155 speed, you'll be speed tuned to the enemy to max out Arcana stacks until you break them for the first time. If you play with other speed buffs, her total speed can actually be lower. Like if you play Ruan Mei with a max talent, you can actually run her at 145.
Okay, I'm doing that.
To get even more technical, you can run her at like 135 with Ruan Mei because she has the break delay, but basically what I'm saying is faster is better, but if it's too fast, too furious for you, you can go a little bit lower. We're gonna need this again. The average player probably won't be able to reach those stats without a ton of time and investment though, and she's still pretty solid even if you can't reach that amount, so don't feel bad about it. Unless you won your last 50-50, then I hope you feel really, really bad. That's when you'd want to run.
So, alright, so 100% effective rate, a bunch of attack, 155 speed, let's run Ruan Mei. I think I can do that. I think my relics are actually good enough. I think I will have the best free-to-play Black Swan out of anybody who plays this game as a streamer, who's also free-to-play.
Attack boots instead though. So the TLDR
100%.
is you either get to at least 155 speed or higher for Memory of Chaos. That way you can fit in extra Arcana stacks between boss attacks and maximize her damage.
I'll do it.
It's about 15% more damage than if you went something like 134
I'll do it, Dad.
speed.
I'll do it.
Or if you treat speed as an actually useless stat and you go for attack percent boots and just play her super slow, it ends up being the second best thing to getting 155 speed, unless you literally just don't break enemies ever. It's super freaking weird, but it's either greater than 155 speed or no speed at all. Or, you know, if you play buffs, then you can adjust that. If you can't get to 155
really?
speed
If you
or
can't
higher,
get to
with or without buffs,
155, you just go attack boots? Oh my god, this sounds brutal. So we're gonna have to work on her for a minute, huh? I mean, I've pre-farmed a shit ton of relics, but that is insane requirements.
go with attack percent boots. Here's the general build summarized. Keep in mind that different content can yield different results, so this is just the best general build we calculated in consideration of accessibility. For substats, if you're aiming for a minimum of 120 effect hit, then the rest will all want to go into speed if you're going for a fast one, and if you're not going for fast Black Swan, if you're going attack boots, then ignore speed completely, go for attack percent and effect res.
Okay. Alright, I'll do it, Brax. I'll do it. I'll make you proud of me. She might actually be the hardest character in the entire game to build right.
When you reach Ishgard and unlock the Astrologian job, all you'll need is a shiny new weapon. Light cones are basically cards, and Black Swan can use a lot of them. And for once, you don't just lose for not being in patch 1.1 when they gave out that
thank God.
light cone. Congrats. This
but that one's mad good though, right?
Truly is a win for PS5 players.
Because that's the one that I have.
Of course, her best in slot is her signature, and like my Overwatch teammates with paint chips, I would put that in my mouth. It gives effect hit rate, attack percent, and defense ignore, so it's really strong overall.
Insane.
But as you're playing the Memo Keeper of the Garden of Recollection, maybe you should recollect how much money you have in your bank account before you pull for this goddamn light cone. Incessant Rain is pretty solid on her for its bonuses. The brand new free-to-play craftable light cone, its showtime at S5, basically trumps all the other 5-star light cones that weren't already listed. Good.
It's that good?
Good night and sleep well. 5 basically trumps all the other 5-star light cones that weren't already listed.
Wait, so it's busted?
Good Night and Sleep Well also does that at S5, but it's not as free-to-play friendly. Rat Light Cone is also great at S5 because the effect hit it gives makes Black Swan a lot easier to build. It also opens up some flexibility to attack percent body as well if you already have good effect hit substats. In the Name of the World is also great at S1.
I don't have that
S5
shit.
tutorial actually works to give her energy due to her defense debuff on her skill, though it's not super necessary to build her for ult up time in comparison to other characters. Solitary.
Wait, we didn't want to use her Silverwolf light cone on that? That's not her best? I thought it would just be the best. That's not the best?
Healing is also good at S5, but there's better 4-stars for her, so I wouldn't really opt for it here. And lastly, if you have a high superimpose for Mata, that's fine too, but like I said, the new craftable is just gonna be better for her. Here's her like...
Okay, can I craft the new one right now? Like, can I just make it? Okay, so how do you make the new light cone? How do you do that? Like, is there, how do you do that? How do you just go? How do you do that? Do I go to, what do I do? MOC? MOC shop. Okay, so if I go to the MOC shop, it's gonna be right here. No shot, right? Probably just jewels. This one? And then I just buy 5 of them. Is this her best one? Because I could get that shit right now. Okay, well, we'll wait. We'll wait. Who knows? Who knows what tomorrow holds? Who knows what tomorrow holds? We'll wait. We'll wait. Okay, so that's all you do. Okay, simple. Because some people might not know where to get that shit. Okay, Memory of Chaos. Makes sense.
Icons ranked on a sheet, and just once again, keep in mind that it all depends on the number of enemies, type of content, etc. But this is a good general reference.
Okay, speed, sig, 5 attack body. Speed. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck am... Holy shit. Good god, bro. What in the fuck am I looking at, man? Holy shit. Can normal human beings read this shit? Good god. This shit fucking dork shit, dude. Fuck my ass. How do people look at this and understand what it says? Okay, I don't get it. Y'all figure it out. That's you.
It's about 3 a.m. in the goddamn morning, and I've downed a liter of coffee, so let's do this. Black Swan is a dot character, and she wants to play with other dot units. That's it.
Is a new title really necessary?
Sir, after bestowing the gift of renting ease to millions, a bump is in order.
Okay, let's see. Oh, hey, what's this?
Lord of the Lease.
I'm not a hat person.
Yeah, no. Emperor of Renterers.
That's funny, no.
Rentar the Trusted.
I don't like it.
Oh, okay. Master of the Rental Sphere.
Wow. I don't know, is it too much? Apartments.com, a place to find a place.
Comfort deluxeified. Kraft mac and cheese deluxe.
Dear all-wheel drive, let's show the road what we've got. Snowy streets, we're coming for you. Icy grip, we're holding tight. Wintry mix, safety's the name of our game. Yours, Toyota all-wheel drive sedans.
Toyota has 22 all-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive vehicles, more than any other brand. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Nick Jones lines things up, checks his fidelity out, looks to outside analysts to get a second opinion, likes what he sees, places the trade.
Talk about easier investing.
The all-electric, all-quiet Subaru Solterra. Dog tested, dog approved.
Like, if you have Black Swan, you need Kafka. Because, dude, this team has so much raw sex appeal, it's insane.
That's the entire goal of the game. Now, can you play Black Swan without Kafka? This is actually a really important question that I want to answer as quickly and as succinctly as possible, because team sections usually take about 15 fucking minutes, because I don't really know why. I just talk way too goddamn much. Black Swan is a strong enough dot character to be played with other dot characters and still make a decent time on like the hardest content in the game. And you can just play her with 2 other dot characters and a healer, or you can play with another dot character and Ruan Mei or something like that. But Kafka massively increases damage, and
let's fucking go, dude.
So consistently makes her definitely one of Black Swan's best pairings, and I would highly recommend playing Kafka with Black Swan if you have her. If you don't, you can still play Black Swan, but ultimately the Black Swan SC wants the Kafka SC.
Yes, sir! Hey, I'm about to be broken as fuck in this game. We've been waiting to hear that shit since the beginning of the game.
You're an incredibly based white-haired woman, enjoy it. But before that, you need to KYS. Keep your wallet safe. Eidolon 1 is her best value per dollar. Not that Eidolons are worth anything in real life. Please don't spend money. Basically, every dot type on an enemy shreds their resistances to that type of damage. So if an enemy has a lightning dot, they have their lightning resistance reduced by 25%, which is basically a Ruan Mei ult at talent 10, but with full uptime. The benefit of this is that the dots are obviously going to do more damage, but I'm sure there's going to be some crazy comps you can use when you treat her as Ruan Mei instead of playing Ruan Mei, and then you could just have 2 of them. It'll be fantastic. The amount of damage it adds is pretty crazy, and if you're a slut for thigh boots, it's a good pickup. Her E2 has a base chance to give adjacent targets 6 stacks of Arcana after an enemy with Arcana is defeated.
You know what's great?
These were the enemies who blew up along the way.
I don't give a fuck about any of these.
Level up, and E4 is going to make it so that when you apply your ultimate debuff, enemies have their effect res lowered, and Black Swan will get 8 energy back at the start of that
I don't care.
turn, or when an enemy with it is defeated. It does only have once per ult per enemy though, so it's decent, but not as good.
Here's my question then. So if people have Kafka with Black Swan, do they need to build Kafka a different way than they normally build her if they pair her with Black Swan? Or what? Because then I'm wondering, do I still want to run her on the 4-piece dot set or no? That's the thing that I'm wondering. No, just fast as fuck? Oh, okay, cool, I can do that.
E5 is an ultimate and basic attack level up, and E6 basically allows Black Swan to be played well outside of dot teams, while massively enhancing her in dot teams as well. Whenever enemies get attacked by an ally, they now have a base chance to inflict an Arcana stack, and an additional smaller chance to make it 2 stacks instead of 1.
Okay.
With a high effect hit Black Swan, you can effectively see 4 to 6 more Arcana stacks per team rotation, and potentially a lot more if your Black Swan is slow. Overall, this character is very much either leave her at E0, get E1, or get E6. As far as E1 or her light cone goes, E1 is just going to be generally better, since it's essentially a whole team buff rather than just a Black Swan one. That's just my opinion, but I do feel like it holds pretty true. But
I bet you I'll get 2 of them when I give it. I bet you I'll get 2 of them. When I do my 10 pull tomorrow, I bet you I get 2 of them. It's going to be insane. It will be insane. I'll get 2 of them. 100%. 100% I'll get 2.
Honestly, why even spend on this game when you can just play a 4-star and hit a trillion damage, baby? 99% of gamblers quit right before they win.
No, fuck up. That's okay. All right, boys. Black Swan and Kafka. That sounds pretty good. Okay. We'll get that light cone and then, you know, the free-to-play Memory of Chaos light cone, we'll max that shit up, and then we'll do a 10 pull, and then we'll get 2 of them in one 10 pull because I'm supposed to. Let's see how broken she is. Okay, why'd you only put her in S? Nah, Pridwin, you're wrong. Nah, you're wrong. Nope. She's S+. She's better than that. There's no way that Black Swan and Kafka are only S when they're paired together. There's just no way. Where's Misha? Where's bro? What the fuck? Does Misha exist? Oh. Yeah! Dog shit unit, man. Dog shit. Okay, so I'm assuming this link icon means synergistic. Character whose power drastically increases or one or more specific character accompanies them on their team. These characters are often the focal point of the competition. They're a part of they open up new archetype of gameplay. See, they should type who they need right next to it. Okay. That looks pretty good to me, boys. Okay, man, even Woba got Little Bear. Woba got the Pridwin bonus. That's insane. All right, well, that looks pretty good to me. So Black Swan, let me know if you're pulling for her in the comments. Boys, are you pulling for Black Swan? Check out my Twitch site, check out the Black Swan giveaway. See you on the next one, boys. Peace. Good. And my boy Tracho, my editor, won the 50-50 and he got Black Swan. That's big. Well, boys, it's been fun. I will see you all in the morning, early as fuck. I will see you all in the morning. We're pulling for Black Swan in the morning. Okay, boys? I will see you all then. Follow the stream before you go. Follow the stream before you go. We will be doing a giveaway pretty much frame 1 of tomorrow's stream. Make sure to go like my Twitter post, all that shit. I will see y'all later. Okay? Good stream. I streamed 3 times today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very, very tired. Actually, no. I streamed 4 times today. I am incredibly fucking tired. I am gonna go pass the fuck out. But I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I will see you all again here tomorrow morning. Hope you all had a fucking blast. And, yeah, I'll just see y'all tomorrow. Hope you all had fun. Appreciate the fuck out of y'all's vibes. Some good looks. Good shit. And, let's do this shit again later. Okay? See y'all very, very, very soon. Thank you guys for everything. I'm gonna dip. I'm looking for somebody to raid. But I don't think there's anybody that I want to raid. see a single damn motherfucker. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. I know who I want to raid. Alright, cool. Let me raid Kamimi. Pokey? Mr. Pokey's... Oh, wait, Mr. Pokey's online. Oh, easy. Yeah, I got him. 100%. Easy. I got you. Yeah, Mr. Pokey, I got you, baby. Alright, take care of my children, Mr. Pokey. Take care of my children. Now, what Mr. Pokey needs to do is he needs to stream all day till I go live again, and then he needs to raid my ass back. Okay? That's the plan. Tell him he needs to stream until I go live again. So he better be streaming for 12 hours. Okay, boys, I'll see y'all later. Tell my son I said yo, and appreciate the fuck out of y'all. Okay? Take it easy, boys. Check out my YouTube, Twitter, all that shit. Good vibes. Good looks. Catch y'all later, boys. Peace.
여기 분리해.
여기 남거라.
아플까나? 불길의 상징. 수면 아래는 무한의 심연이야. 작별할 시간이야. 진정해.
악한 악기들, 몸이 상대해주지.
제대로 서 있어.
사느냐 죽느냐, 너에게 선택권은 없어.
작별할 시간이야. 애군의 맹세. 수면 아래는 무한의 심연이야.
난 괜찮아.
가짱쿤.
물러서.
진정해. 작별할 시간이야. 안 아파.
악한 악기들, 몸이 상대해주지.
불길의 상징. 한통속이군. 더 버텨.
우리님 살려줘.
수면 아래는 무한의 심연이야.
사느냐 죽느냐, 너에게 선택권은 없어.
목숨을 지켜줘.
제대로 서 있어. 작별할 시간이야. 모두 쓸어버려. 노래 소리.
악한 악기들, 몸이 상대해주지!
수면 아래는 무한의 심연이야. 진정해. 작별할 시간이야.
부탁을 저버리다니.
사리가
뛰어풀 수
느껴져.
없어.
다리 비춘 진리. 불타올라라. 패기를 보여줘. 다리 비춘 진리. 햇빛을 감으로. 도망 못 찰걸? 만물을 비추리!
Hey guys, it's Destiny, and with the release of Honkai Star Rail's biggest update, which I'm super excited about by the way, and I hope you are as well, we have our first character of 2.0, which is the very pretty and also very purple Black Swan. I mean, she literally has a Black Swan in one of her trailers too, so I think the name is pretty fitting. I'll be going over everything you guys need to know about her in this video, which ranges from her kit, how to play her, best builds, and my personal thoughts on her as a character now that she is out. Also, make sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video to win your 50/50 on Black Swan, and the source is definitely to trust me on this one. Without further ado though, let's talk about Black Swan.
The dazzling item. Are you looking for its owner?
Let's start off with going over the basics of Black Swan. Black Swan is our newest Wind Nihility character, which reminds me of another certain character. I'm sorry, Sampo, I love you, but I have to let Black Swan shine today. Black Swan takes damage over time to a whole new level with her ability Arcana. He's able to inflict Arcana, which is considered its own form of damage over time, onto enemies, and this is stackable, which the more stacks you have, the more bigger the damage with her tarot card. Arcana can be inflicted numerous ways, which is her technique at the start of the battle, which can inflict numerous stacks, her basic attacks, her skill, which also does a defense drop onto the main target and adjacent enemies, and every time an enemy target receives damage over time at the start of their turn, there's a chance for them to also be inflicted with Arcana. Allies who trigger damage over time onto an enemy can also help with Arcana stacks. Also, every time Black Swan hits an enemy that has Bleed, Wind Shear, Shock, or Burn, she can additionally stack Arcana onto them per damage over time debuff respectively, which can result in numerous additional stacks with her basic attack or skill depending on how many forms of damage over time you have on the enemy. Arcana can also be stacked up to 50 times, by the way, and the multiplier gets pretty nuts the more stacks you have. At 3 stacks of Arcana, Arcana will deal wind damage over time onto adjacent enemies and also have a chance of inflicting Arcana onto them. And at 7 or more Arcana stacks, the current damage over time applied onto enemies will ignore 20% of their defense and adjacent enemies' defense, which is very strong, especially with how much she can already reduce enemy defenses with her skill as well. Your Arcana stacks will reset though once an enemy's turn begins, with the exception though of how her ultimate works, which is her ultimate helps your Arcana stack count, as the stack count will not reset after an enemy gets hit with Arcana. You will be able to continue your stacks until the enemy's following turn, which can result in you getting a bunch of additional stacks onto the enemy for a huge explosive attack once that enemy's turn happens again. Also, her ultimate causes Epiphany on enemies, which increases the damage an enemy takes during their turn by 25%, so mainly referring to that damage over time, since it would be during their turn. And her stacks will be considered Bleed, Wind Shear, Burn, and also Shock, which is really good for getting even more stacks. I know that was a lot, but Arcana is literally Black Swan's main source of damage, which makes her a pretty backloaded unit overall, but it's definitely worthwhile with how much damage Arcana can do, because this is just super powerful. And of course, with all the numerous ways you can inflict it, it'll make it pretty nice when it comes to team building. As for Black Swan's traces though, they're pretty nice, as they'll be able to increase her damage by up to 72% at all times, by the way, based on 60% of her effect hit rate. So if we did quick math, you'll basically want 120% effect hit rate on Black Swan. Her skill will also have a chance to inflict an additional Arcana stack if an enemy has Burn, Bleed, Wind Shear, or Shock, her debuff respectively, as I mentioned a little earlier. And her last trace allows allies who trigger damage over time onto enemies to have a chance to inflict 3 additional Arcana stacks onto an enemy, which those 3 stacks are pretty nice overall. It can definitely help you consistently get those 7 stacks every single time when an enemy's turn actually happens. She will also get 28% attack, 14.4% wind damage, and 10% effect hit rate from her chases, so her base kit is pretty stacked, honestly. And when it comes to playing Black Swan, you'll want to prioritize getting as many Arcana stacks as you can, which is easier when you have another damage over time character on the team. Black Swan can go numerous ways with her rotation, but you'll want to skill with her on her first action so that she can inflict the defense drop onto enemies for 3 turns. From there, you could do a mixture of basic attacks and skill, depending on your skill points available on your team. If you do use her skill every attack though to get more Arcana stacks also on those adjacent enemies, you'll be able to get a 4-turn ultimate since her energy cost is 120, but with certain builds, you can get a 3-turn ultimate, which I'll get into later in the video. When it comes to using Black Swan's ultimate though, ideally you want to do this when there's a good gap between your characters and the enemies going again in a turn cycle. Since your goal with using the ultimate is to take advantage of being able to accumulate a bunch of Arcana stacks. So ideally, you'd want this gap in order to get as many stacks as you can before they have their turns, just to get the Arcana stacks as high as you can, of course as shown with the gameplay I'm showing you guys here. But now let me get into some teammates and team concepts I really like with Black Swan.
A dazzling item. Are you looking for its owner?
So when it comes to teams I like, or just concepts in general, I really like Black Swan alongside 1 to 2 damage over time characters, supportive characters as well for more buffs, and of course sustain. Unless your characters are decked out with their builds, then you might be able to get away with no sustain if you have a pretty strong synergistic team. Some partners I love with Black Swan would be Kafka, since Kafka can re-trigger damage over time consistently and takes advantage of Black Swan's kit very well, and these 2 are literally like bread and butter when it comes to damage over time playstyle. And Black Swan is definitely one of Kafka's best partners for sure. Other characters I like with Black Swan are Gwennyfin, Sampo, and also Luca. They work very well with allowing Black Swan to gain more Arcana stacks, and all of them have their own perks within their kit to either improve team damage or dot damage potential. Some fun partners though are Welt, Rodmei, Ting-Yun, Asta, and so on. Welt is really nice for delaying enemies in turn order, so when you use Welt to delay enemies, this can give Black Swan more time to accumulate Arcana stacks on the enemy. Rodmei is great for increasing team damage and also increasing weakness breaking efficiency for the team. This can allow you to break enemies more often and inflict forms of break damage over time onto enemies as well. Ting-Yun is great for increasing an ally's attack, damage, and also giving energy to an ally, which can help with team rotations, especially if she also has Dance 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 equipped. Asta, same case with Dance Dance Dance. She's a great character for being able to increase the attack, speed of allies by a massive amount, and your teammates will be able to go more frequently in turn cycles, and if your allies are able to go more, this can help with more Arcana stacks, plus the attack buffs are really nice for benefiting damage over time potential. Plus, Asta can also inflict burn onto enemies, which this could be a nice plus for the damage over time playstyle. We'll say she definitely excels in a comp that focuses primarily on getting her Arcana stacks as high as possible. Now though, let's go over her builds, and then lastly my review on her overall as a character.
A dazzling item. Are you looking for its owner?
When it comes to building Black Swan, honestly, I would recommend the 4-piece Prisoner in Deep Confinement set the most over anything else. It increases her attack by 12%, and it would allow her to ignore up to 18% of an enemy's defense if there are 3 damage over time stacks on an enemy. Paired with her other forms of ignoring defense, this is very strong on her. And if you don't have this set, you can use the Musketeer of Wildwheat or Eagle of Twilight Line set in the time being. As for her planar sets, I recommend the Glimmoth set if you can reach 160 speed in battle, which can be easier to do with characters who buff up your speed on your team, and Cosmic for the additional effect hit rate, which is one of Black Swan's most important stats to build, and also you can get up to a 25% attack increase. And for my final recommendation, if you don't have these 2 sets, I'd go with the space station set for the 24% attack boost. For main stats, you'll want to prioritize effect hit rate body piece, since your goal is at 120% effect hit rate, speed or attack boost, but preferably speed though if you don't have a consistent speed buffer on the team. Wind or attack orb, either one of these is honestly fine. It more so depends on your team comp as to which one you may want more. If you have a bunch of damage boosts from teammates, then you may want to consider an attack orb. But if you have a bunch of attack boosts, then the wind orb is more than likely ideal. But honestly, either one is very good on her. Lastly, attack rope. For substats, you need to prioritize effect hit rate until you have 120, either with a mixture of a light cone and relic sets, and then you will want attack percentage and speed, and these three will be your main important substats to look at when it comes to building Black Swan. As for light cones, her best options will be her signature light cone Reforge Remembrance, which gives her 40% effect hit rate, and she'll be able to easily get the maximum stacks of profit very early into battle, which allows her to increase her attack by 20%, and damage over time will ignore 28.8% defense as well. Which honestly, at this point, this results in her being defense ignore Swan, which is kind of nuts with how much defense she's going to be ignoring with this light cone. Another option I heavily recommend is Eyes of the Prey, as it'll give Black Swan 40% effect hit rate and also increase dot damage by 48%, which is great for her backloaded damage. Another great light cone option is a new free-to-play light cone, It's Showtime. This light cone is amazing for Black Swan since she can highly benefit from the trick stacks, which can allow her to get 30% damage increase and also a 36% attack increase due
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down. Today, I went and saw Cocaine Bear because this movie has been hyped. I don't know if it's been critically well received, but the general public seems to like it. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to go to a late showing. It's the only showing that had good seats left, whatever. So saw it, and you know, here's I. If this video ends, I would say if you're just looking for a blanket score, 6 out of 10. Today's video is sponsored by Keeps. Keeps is a discreet online service that brings hair care right to your door. One of the most terrifying things that can happen to a person is hair falling out, getting patchy, getting thin. I mean, it's a nightmare. Realistically, a lot of guys' hair starts to fall out by 35. That's not going to happen to me. But if it did, I'd get Keeps. Keeps has expert recommended hair care treatment plans that help you with specific needs. The treatment plans are extremely affordable, and most customers experience results in about 6 months after using Keeps. Keep your hair issues a secret and gain your confidence back with one of the most trusted brands around. Whether you're looking to prevent hair loss, stimulate hair growth, or just take better care of your hair, Keeps has you covered. Hair loss stops with Keeps. To get a special offer, go to keeps.com/papameat or click the link in the description. That's keeps.com/papameat. Thank you, Keeps, for sponsoring the video, and back to the video. So today I did watch
기억의 영역의 경계인 꿈 세계야. 지금 우리는 우연히 같은 꿈 세계를 공유해 서로의 생각이 나타나게 된 거야. 꿈의 땅이 우리에게 차빈살을 걷는 거나 마찬가지지. 걱정 마. 넌 곧 신경 쓸 건 없어. 이런 망각은 아침마다 일어나는 일상과도 같은 일이니까. 그러니 날 따라와. 왼쪽 복도 끝에. 거기서 널 기다리고 있을게. 갤럭시 레인저 아케론. 그들은 날 이렇게 불러. 너도 편하게 이 문을 열고 기억이 남아있는 동안이라도 아름다운 꿈 세계로 불러봐.
이건 세상에...
이쪽이야. 앞장서.
나이스. 벽 위로 걸어가 이게 된다고?
안 될 것도 없잖아. 곧 도착이야.
Cocaine Bear, which is a new movie distributed by Universal Pictures, directed by the very talented Elizabeth Banks. You might know her from Wet Hot American Summer or her huge hit, Charlie's Angels, that everybody loved. And this movie takes place in Chattahoochee, Tennessee, and follows an angry bear who stumbles across cocaine in the forest and kills all sorts of unsuspecting victims in the forest. This is a true, based off a true story, which when people say based off a true story, it's like a very small fraction of something, and then they kind of just do whatever they want with something. And the actual Cocaine Bear, it was in 1985. A guy was flying an airplane, or what was his actual name? Andrew C. Thornton II was the drug smuggler's name, who was throwing duffel bags full of cocaine out of his airplane to lighten the plane's load. And he jumped out of the airplane, but his chute didn't deploy, and he died. He fell on the ground, and all the bags of cocaine went to the forest. And then a big American black bear ate up like 40 containers of cocaine and died of a drug overdose. So no, there wasn't any big crazy deaths in the woods or anything like that. But you can still see the Cocaine Bear, who was owned by Waylon Jennings. It's in Kentucky right now at like a Kentucky mall. It's the Cocaine Bear. They're the one who labeled it the Cocaine Bear. So it's based off that story. The movie, when it begins, it does a nice little montage of showing you actual news clips from that day, which is pretty fun. But then pretty much everything we get after that is just kind of shitty, generic schlock that's kind of fun. You know, it's a little fun. You know, the story itself feels so generic. To me, you know, the whole movie is just about people that are in the forest with the bear, and it's just about finding really stupid ways to have them go up there. One of the stories being a mom looking for her daughter, and you kind of have this like little beginning thing where it's like introducing the mom and her daughter, and the mom's just like, hey, I've been getting my pipes banged out by some new dude. We're gonna go to Tennessee with him. And the girl's like, I don't want to watch you get your pipes banged out, Mom. That's too much. And it's like they try to start like a little bit of like, ooh, there's some bad blood between the mom and the daughter, but it's really not that big of a deal. If anything, the daughter's like, all right, fine. And like that's the extent of it. But then the daughter skips school with her autistic friend, and they go into the woods to paint like a waterfall or something. The whole thing with the mom and the daughter, I'm like, just get rid of that. Just get rid of that. The movie also focuses on these 3 drug dealers. Ray Liotta, Random Guy, and Ice Cube's son are all drug dealers who were supposed to be the people who got the cocaine, but there's like weird family drama where Ray Liotta's son, who's this crybaby sad boy, is upset because his wife died, and he has a kid that's pawned off on Ray Liotta, and you see the kid once in the movie in a ball pit. You don't even see him, it's just a child jumping into a ball pit. And then Ice Cube's son is Ray Liotta's like goon, who's like, we gotta get my son in shape so he can go and get the, you know, get back at the drug business with this pops. And it's just like it's just another huge story. It doesn't feel it feels just as like grandiose as a main story, so it feels like it's just 2 main stories combating against each other, and it's just very odd. I think that you know, keep the drug story line because the movie's called Cocaine Bear, and then get rid of the mom who's trying to get banged out by some dude that we never see, or at least show the fuck scene of the mom, dude. You know what I'm talking about? The little girl walks in on the mom. And the movie does like a weird thing where it's like you have the mom and the daughter, but the dad's missing. You have the drug dealer who's upset that his wife died, and he pawns his son off to Chantix sponsor Ray Liotta. And then it's just like it feels like all the little main cast of characters are all like people that have broken families, kind of, because even the mama bear doesn't have a papa bear. It's just a mama and her kids. So it's like it feels like they were trying to say something with that, but it just kind of feels like an odd coincidence where I feel like after the end when they wrote it, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. It all kind of just makes sense. Should we do anything to really tie it in? Nah, we're good. The whole movie is propped up on these like really weak stories, and there's like an ensemble of characters in this movie. It's like there's not like 9 main characters. It feels like it feels like there's way too many main characters. Like the storylines, they're trying to pull like a fucking Christopher Nolan, what is it, Memento, with like having all these stories connect and stuff. But it's Elizabeth Banks with a cocaine bear. Let's just focus on one person or like one particular group of people, and we'll just like get to experience people dying. But you know, in the studios, they were like scratching their head. They're like, how do we justify all these people being out in the woods? And it's like, it's 1985. There's nothing to do, and it's a state park. I think you can just have people out there, and everyone's gonna be like, okay, yeah, It's 1985. There's nothing to do. People, cell phones, those aren't a thing. You know, people can just be walking around the woods. It was a happier time. The movie itself is fun. We get to see a big bear, and they kind of introduce the movie where it's like you start off with a pretty gruesome kill, and all the kills are pretty gruesome. You know, it's a bear ripping people apart, but they don't really cut away. We get to see a lot of it. That's kind of fun. We don't linger on some stuff too long, but it's definitely gruesome in some parts, and it was a bit of a surprise. I mean, at the beginning, a pregnant woman dies. Thank God. No, I'm kidding. A pregnant woman dies. She gets like brutally eaten by this bear, and you're kind of led to immediately believe like, oh wait, no, this, anybody can be a victim in this movie, which is kind of fun. I like that. But even at the peak of the movie where I was like, oh, this is the funnest it was, it's probably like right around the midway point. So then like you peak in the middle and you kind of seen everything you needed to see with like a bear killing people in the woods. And then at the end, you kind of just, the rest of the movie, you just kind of have to wait for a generic storyline to finish. Oh God, I wonder what happens with this mom and her daughter. I'm bored. So, it's funny because they establish all these different characters, but it's like all the characters we barely know anything about, they're the funnest characters. Big ranger in the park, this woman who basically just wants to get fucking her muff eaten out by some like hippie dude, and then some drug dealer kids, and then the ambulance people. It's like all those characters were a lot funner because it's like, I don't care about the, like, emotional connections of people in a cocaine bear movie. I'm not gonna have my life change. I'm not watching Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis isn't walking around the forest like, oh, hopefully gonna get this bear. I don't know why. That's not what he sounds like, but I wish the movie would have focused more on that. You can have a similar storyline. Like, you can keep the drug dealers who are looking for these bags of cocaine, in the forest, that it's their investment. They're trying to recoup their investment. I get that. That's fine. But, like, cut all the other shit out. I just want to see people get attacked by bears. That's the only reason people are going to see this movie. Throw random characters that are showing up to the park in situations and fun little things, picnics, ambulance reports or whatever. Just throw them in there and have a big gruesome bear show up and fucking kill people. I mean, it's awesome. That was the pinnacle of the movie. The funnest I had was when the characters, I didn't really know anything about them, and it was just their genuine reaction. And all those performances were good. And that's one thing I guess I should say too, is that all the characters in the movie, they're fine actors and stuff. The script can be kind of cringe at times, but generally I think all the jokes landed pretty well, and I think that generally it was a pretty funny movie. Is it Hangover funny? No, sweetie, it's not Hangover funny. Is it Ted funny? No, sweetie, it's not Ted funny, but it's good enough. For a movie about a killer bear that does cocaine, and it's like supposed to be like, we're having fun, tie your shoes. They're joking around. It could have been so much worse. The bear itself, the CGI, you gotta talk about the bear. I mean, he's on the cover. He's the poster child. He's the poster of the movie. Or she is, sorry. The CGI wasn't the best. I mean, what am I gonna do? Knock the fucking movie? It was made for like $30 million. It's like a pretty small budget. For what it was fine, but just like particular moments were kind of distracting. It kind of felt like Yogi Bear at times. Like, it's so overly apparent 3D that in some moments you're just kind of like, okay, it's silly that these people are laying on the ground talking to nothing because this is obviously a CG bear. But all in all, I mean, it's fine. It's passable, and that's the kind of the whole vibe with this movie. I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. It's cool. I hate with these arguments too, though, Nick, is when people are like, oh, well, if it's so bad, then let's see you do it. You know what I mean? Oh, I'd like to see you do a movie for $30 million and do the CGI. I'm not saying I'm not knocking anybody. I mean, like, the people did a fine job. I'm just saying, like, is it Avatar 2, Way of the Water? I haven't seen it, but the trailers, the CGI looks pretty good. Just in terms of the tone of the movie, I thought was kind of particularly interesting was, I wish that they would have kept the movie more cartoony. There's a lot of great, funny little moments, and there's moments where, like, even the bear acting seems a little more human or aggressive, or, like, it doesn't feel as primal. It feels more cartoony in their approach, and I always like that. And then it's like they tried to have a level of camp where it's like, we know this is a crazy little movie about a cocaine bear. But then there's other moments where they try to ground it, and they're just like, we want to make you cry. This is actually supposed to talk about relationships with families, and it's supposed to talk about childhood trauma and having to deal with that as a child. And it's like, get that the fuck out of here, dude. Stay cheesy and campy. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, this is so silly, and then try to like drop some emotional shit because it just like it grinds the movie to like a really boring halt where you're like, oh god, just someone die. Someone needs to die in this scene for me to like kind of snap back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. You know, with the whole the campy side of things is you could look at a movie like Sharknado, another little quirky animal movie, but at least Sharknado is just like, hey, we're a big dumb cheap movie about sharks getting thrown through windows, and it's really kind of cheap and stupid. I don't think Cocaine Bear has to like be really cheap and stupid, but I think it just needs to be more consistent with like, what is it trying to be? Are you trying to make it a drama about like a mom, like Mystic River or wherever the fuck that movie is, or Brother Bear? Or are you trying to make it like, hey, we want to literally just give an experience for people to come see a movie about a bear ripping people's faces apart high on cocaine? And if it's so, just own it. Who cares? That's fine. What are we doing? You know, you're not making something respectable. You know, you're not making something respectable. It's kind of like if you're buying pussy for the first time and it's like, yeah, you had sex, but you bought it. I don't know. That doesn't really work. But if they're trying to ground the movie and make it like, you know, have all these different things, yeah, maybe have the bear who's just kind of randomly going around killing things. Maybe have like stakes to the bear, like the mama bear is looking for her cubs, and it's like just apparently along that way she like got into some cocaine, so that's why she's so aggressive, is because she's on the defense, but now it's like elevated to that, you know what I mean, that extreme. She has some meaning as well, so maybe you feel more sympathetic towards the bear, but you can't just have a bear kill a bunch of people and then have her kind of, you come across, oh wait, she's a mom, she has cubs. Well, that makes me feel differently about the bear. I feel sad. It's like, no, you're a vicious fucking animal. Put it down and put the little cubs down, dude. Bash the fucking cubs in the head. Shoot the mom 6 times in the chest, and let's call it a day. You know, there's little kids out in the forest getting ready to get killed. Or we gonna just not kill the bears now? And that's where I can tell too. As soon as this happens, and also once again, spoiler alert, the mama bear doesn't die at the end. The cubs don't die at the end. And you know what I heard? Off in the distance, sequel bait! That's all I just, ooh, are we fishing? Like, let me open up my tack box here. Oh, there it is. That's the bait I'm looking for. Sequel bait. Ooh, there it is.
Well, I don't know. They didn't find all the drugs in the woods. Maybe the bear will keep doing cocaine and killing people.
Cocaine Bear 2. Except this time, probably the cubs are going to be, you know, grown up, and it's like 3 bears instead of just the one. But at the end of that one, the mom bear dies, so in the third one, now it's 2 fully grown bears, and it's just about those, like, basically those kids bears getting revenge. So that's already 3 Cocaine Bear movies. The only problem is, how do they justify that these animals don't have an overdose, especially with the amount of cocaine the mom does in the first one? I thought the movie was going to end with her having, like, overdosing, which would have tied in perfectly with the real story. You know, I mean, the bear does overdose in real life, but it's just fucking weird. It's like, really? There's no repercussions. You have children doing cocaine, like a lot. The kids in the movie, spoilers, the kids in the movies do cocaine, big mountains of it, and they know their tiny little hearts don't just fucking explode in their chest. How is that possible? If there would have been one moment in the movie where the children had an overdose on cocaine, that would have been like, this is like Oscar contender level thing. If you could be as bold to have kids do cocaine in a movie, and one of the kids is just like, I don't feel good, Rebecca. And the kid's just fucking and his chest is he just dies of a heart attack. How fucking cool would that be? The bear doesn't even kill him, the cocaine does. And then, see, you have another message too, dude. Drugs are bad. Bam. It's a great, just like, one and done watch. Like, a studio spent $35 million to give you an experience that a bear does cocaine and kills people in the woods, and it's not 2008. That's like a miracle within itself. So I would recommend this movie. I say go see it, enjoy it. Sure, the storyline's pretty fucking stupid. It's forgettable. You have way too many characters. Get that annoying ass kid, the boy, out of there, unless he has a drug overdose. Then keep him in for the drug overdose, because that would be funny. It's a shame this is like Ray Liotta's last movie, which it's like, fuck. With the success of these movies as well, you're gonna have spin-offs. I know Asylum, oh god, Asylum Pictures or Studios, or what the fuck they're called, that garbage studio. They said Meth Gator is coming out, and they were trying to like market it in the replies, I think, to Cocaine Bear articles. It was really odd, but Meth Gator, you're gonna see a lot of weird shit coming out like that. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing though Heroin Duck. I'm not gonna see Meth Gators. That's just not gonna happen. I think as long as this movie doesn't have a sequel, I would be like, it's fine. Like, as a movie just to go see, it's fun. Throw it up on a stream. You and your buddies are hanging out. You want to watch something stupid and kind of laugh at like gruesome violence. Yeah, just throw on Cocaine Bear. I just am praying, and I know it's gonna happen, but I pray to God every day and say, listen, Muhammad, please, don't let this be a franchise. Don't let this be a franchise, please. You know what? I tip my hats off to Elizabeth Banks. Do I think she handled the failure of Charlie's Angels a little poorly? Sure. You're not going to have a winner every time. But you know what? I like Elizabeth Banks. I'm glad that this movie's doing well. I hope everybody in the comments goes and sees this movie and they get to experience it. And then let me know down below what you thought of the movie. And also, I wanted to see out of 10, what did you give this movie? And if you say 10 out of 10, give a justifiable reason. And if you say lower than a 6, I'd like to know why. I don't think the movie was that bad. Nick, do you think the movie was that bad? Okay, Nick is he's a big stickler. His favorite movie is Stalker, that Russian movie. We'll just play like a little clip of Stalker. That's his favorite movie, and he said that he thought that Cocaine Bear was good. So I think it's pretty universal. I'd say it's a fun thing, you know. So all in all, Cocaine Bear, thumbs up. I'm excited for this year of more horror movies and stuff. If there's a horror movie you want me to watch, be sure to let me know. Also, check out the Patreon for exclusive content. We got some fun stuff up there. We're going to be doing more Patreon videos. A new Patreon.
The most popular anime characters of 2023. I wonder if that involves gacha gaming characters. Like, is that gacha games? Because that's an anime, right? I don't know. Who is the most popular anime character from 2023? Probably Gojo, right? Probably Gojo. Okay. Holy shit, the race begun. Denji. Was Chainsaw Man 2023? Zoro was that high, even above Luffy. Even Hattori was that popular. Makima makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Izuku Midoriya is insane that he was ever that popular. Dude, My Hero is so insane. Shanks getting repped though, that's really nice. Nezuko being that high makes me want to puke. Yoruichi how in 2023? Mikey, Invincible Mikey? Oh shit, dude. Dude, Mikey was such a badass character. I need to finish that show. Hanzo. Why the f did Hange become the most popular character? Bro, for what? I mean, she's a good kid. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyways, guys. Eren Yeager. Okay. Eren Yeager being that low down, he'll be taking number 1 soon. Shanks overtaking? What the f could that be? How did Shanks overtake the top spot? Maybe for the movie, the one with Otto. Midoriya takes over. Weird, but that's My Hero, is what it is. I wonder where the Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5 spike happens. I think that's what. Oh my god! Holy shit! He busted on him, dude. Yeah, that's gotta be movie red. Yeah, he probably uses Conqueror's Hockey there. That's insane. It is a one-man show. Now we're back to normal. Monkey D. Luffy. Nice. Deserved. Luffy's a really good character, guys. He's a really good character. Monkey D. Garp? Why Garp? I don't even think, was Garp even in Film Red? Oh, the manga chapter. Okay. Yeah. Eren Yeager! This must be the end of Attack on Titan. Yep. Look at that, dude. I overtake number 1. Yoruichi. What? Bro, Yoruichi is... I don't go Yoruichi. Hot take. I don't go Bleach. The problem with Oshinoko is just, it's one of those other animes where when you watch it, you gotta like ignore how weird and cringe it is sometimes. Because let's be real, I mean, dude, I hate this whole genre of adult male gets reincarnated into a little boy's body. Like, it's just so weird, man. Tanjiro, dude, I don't give a what people say. I do not think the Demon Slayer anime is overrated. Like, the animation is so good. Like, sure, the plot is okay, but like, let's not deny that the fight scenes and the animation is like, it is like top tier. Buggy! I'm waiting for the live action to come out and see Monkey D. Luffy and Buggy spike to the top. It's crazy how Thorfinn! He was there for a little bit. That's my boy. That's my son. Sanji Vinsmoke with the spike of the century. What the? Okay, what's next? Who's coming? Kenya. Who the is Kenya? Oh, from season 3 Demon Slayer. Good character. Oh my God! Ronor Zoro with the Centurion. Jesus Christ! That must have been his fight versus King. I'm ready. Where's the spike for Monkey D. Luffy? Thorfinn staying relevant makes me so happy. Muchichiru Tokito. Oh, dude, his fight versus Pot Man was so sick. So good. Actually, so good. Eren Yeager comes back in just for fun. Ruby Hoshino, terrible character. Mitsuri, getting recognition, dope. She's an okay character, but she has really huge boobs, so I like her. Just keep it 100%. Asta! My boy Asta broke the top 10? I thought everybody hated Black Clover. Nezuko? Yeah, this must be when she does the dumb shit. That I thought was stupid that she did. I thought it really character. Akaza, yeah, all Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer just completely taking over the top 5 besides I. Oshinoko took over the internet for a while. The first episode was really, really good of Oshinoko, but it fell off pretty hard after that first episode, I'll be real. Although I do think as far as first episodes go, it was probably one of the best in anime history, but it's because it's just really long. No, I didn't. No, so what I'm saying is by falling off, I mean the episodes that precede it were not as good as the first one. I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm saying in comparison, after the first episode, the rest were not as good. Hopefully that makes sense. Toji! Dude, Toji is so badass. Dude, I don't want to say nothing, but like, man, they should have done more with that character, bro. They should have done more with Toji. I don't think they did enough with Toji. He's so bad. Bro, when he comes out and he's like, then he grabs the bitch's nunchucks and just starts bodying mother. Bro, he's so cool. Actually so cool. I'm waiting for the Gojo spike. I guarantee Gojo's gonna take over. Toji with the huge, there's Gojo, there's a moment of shot. Monkey D. Luffy, there it is. Pop it off. Toji taking over, Gojo taking over. Fighting back and forth. No, I guarantee you, Gojo is going to eclipse everything. At some point, he's going to eclipse everything. It'll be like 3 times anything else. Man, get... Yep. Oh my... See, Gojo's going to do that. Hey, I wonder what happened. What was it? The drums of liberation, right? The drums of liberation? Dude, that shit was so hard. It was so good. That's why I like keeping up with like as many manga as possible, to be there for the hype moments. Even if I don't necessarily enjoy the show a lot, like I love being there for the hype moments. Drums of Liberation. Oh yeah, can we watch the Gear 5 scene? No. I mean, I'd like to. That's up to chat. Shit is so sick. It's so good. Just wait, man. Gojo's gonna fly. Rukia. Do people really like Bleach that much? That's insane to me. I have no... Oh, Sukuna. That bitch. Hey, Sukuna and Gojo. What are you guys doing together? Maybe we should just calm down, guys. Maybe we should just calm down. Yep. Maybe we should just calm down here. Megumi Fushiguro. Getting a reputation dope. Such a good character. I love Fushiguro so much. Sanji getting a huge power spike. Yeah. Monkey D. Luffy. There we go. Zoro popping off. Sanji, Mihawk. Shanks, Buggy, oh my God! Rorin Orozoa, Sanji taking over, man. One Piece is hot. Usopp! My boy up at the top. Good shit. There he goes. Luffy. This must be the live action. I'm assuming. Maybe. Yep. Anyways. Would you win the fight versus Mr. Pokey? Wait, would Mr. Pokey beat you in a fight? Nah. I'd win. Oh no. Yep. There he goes. Gojo was one of my favorite anime characters of all time. Frieren popping off. Good for them. Good for them. Fushiguro coming out of nowhere. I have no idea why. Yep. There they go. Kento Nanami. Oh, why'd we stop? Man, dude. Oh, come on. Oh, dude, shit's so dope. It's that, dude, shit like that is so much fun. Who was your favorite character of 2023? Anyways, I love shit like that. Dude, I don't know. My anime character of 2023 is definitely Tortofine. Tortofine is my number one. 100%. He's just such a good character. I don't think there's any other character that has such insane character arc from in such a short amount of chapters. Like, the man who Tortofine was at the beginning to where he is now is insane. I wouldn't say Guts. I would say Guts has been a lot, but he's relatively remained the same character. Tortofine has gone underneath change after change after change after change. You know, like Guts is just like, I've been in both ways. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, but Tortofine's my number one for 2023. He's just so, it's like tons of growth on Guts. Yeah, but I'm sure you'd argue that Tortofine, Guts is obviously an amazing character. I mean, guys. I have a $4,000 resin statue of Guts in his berserk armor behind me. I love the guy. He's awesome. I have the whole Berserk series right behind me. You know what I have underneath that? The Vinland Saga manga. He's a really L-take. You pussy. Stop getting, you're over emotional. Yeah. Okay, but Tortofine, like right up here, man. Guts, like right there. Just for as far as character development goes. Guts is still an amazing character, but I think like the arc for Tortofine is just, it's just so in depth.
뭔가 이상했지. 불협화음이 은은하게 섞여서 들렸거든. 그 잡음을 기록해보니 열차가 워프할 때 중력파 주파수와 완전히 일치하더라고. 게다가 이 구절은 열차 엔진의 공간 공유를 암묵히 삼아 위와 같이 해독해낸 거지.
무명객이 흔히 쓰는 구조 요청 방식이군.
아직 단정짓긴 일러. 어쩌면 가면의 우인이
nicedayfinday.org.
언제 눈치챘나?
This webpage rose to popularity on Yahoo Answers of all places, and is now cemented as a cursed webpage due to its cryptic origins. As a matter of fact, many heard of this webpage as a rumor first, coming off as some kind of urban legend like Kisaragi Station. That is, before the actual webpage was found. The site is interesting as it changes URLs and is difficult to locate for this reason. The most famous incarnation of this URL is nicedayfinday.org, which has been archived. The title likely comes from the lyrics of the song in that cursed Kleenex commercial. You know the one. The original Yahoo Answers post reads as follows. Does this cursed site actually exist? This is regarding the cursed web pages that have been popping up on the internet as of late. It's become an urban legend. The site itself starts with a blank white screen, and when you scroll to the bottom, there's an image of a Tori gate. It's said that if you scroll down and don't see that Tori gate, you're cursed. The gate itself is probably from a shrine in Japan somewhere. The site also has this bulletin board. Apparently, all the topics tell stories of people becoming miserable after visiting the site, and they suggest that the reader is also going to be affected. According to the site's legend, the site's creator is no longer with us, and that the site changes URLs on its own. It doesn't show up in any keyword searches either. If anyone knows anything about the site, please respond to this. Beyond this, various web pages and blogs mention the site, most mentions being from between 2009 and 2012, so it's been around for a while. All accounts mention details similar to what the Yahoo Answers user had recalled. And yeah, as we already touched upon, this nightmare webpage does actually exist. It's not just an urban legend, and that in itself is kind of terrifying. So, this lost media that probably should have remained lost has features similar to what this Yahoo Answers poster and everyone on Twitter and on those blogs had described. Let's take a look, shall we? So, the actual homepage differs a bit from the recollections, but the white screen is there. Also, this creepy little image. And when you click the image, there it is. The Tori Gate. The boy himself. The site is technically as described, though there are features that weren't mentioned in the tweets or Yahoo Answers post, like this other creepy image, as well as a bunch of repeated words and characters on screen that spell out devil, curse, blessing, God, etc. What is among the creepiest element of this page is this list of names, similar in nature to the NNN special broadcast video, another well-known Japanese urban legend. The mentioned bulletin board is also there, and it's very, very hard on the eyes. It's like a Virtual Boy, but on steroids. Seriously, I'm making this a lot smaller so it's not hard on you guys' eyes, but it's really bad. All that aside, though, the actual posts on the bulletin board aren't scary or anything. It's mainly just people joking around and memeing. The lost footage of a broadcast ghost attack. This bizarre broadcasting incident had occurred back in 2014 on Mie Terebi or Mie Television. The broadcast itself on this day was reporting on a typhoon that was occurring in the area. Everything was standard of that kind of news airing, until this image popped up out of nowhere, without any context or warning. The photo itself shows a girl or young woman. She appears to be in a bathroom or locker room of some sort. She's clearly distressed and running away from something. That something appears to be a ghost, due to the appearance being similar to that of an onryo. There's a green tint, as if this came from some kind of night vision CRT footage. Now, clearly, obviously, this had nothing to do with the ongoing typhoon coverage that the news outlet was providing coverage on. It couldn't have been intentional, as that would have been in very, very poor taste during the coverage of something that concerned the safety of the viewers. The image itself was shown very briefly, and it was removed from the screen just as promptly as it had appeared. The broadcasted incident was covered by print news outlets in the days following. And here's the thing. The footage of the broadcast itself is now lost. The damage was done, though, and the brief and bizarre visuals set the internet abuzz. Tweets were sent right after the image was displayed while the broadcast was still occurring, and some forum users exaggerated how gory the photo itself actually was, effectively spreading the incident more so. The official reason given for this image being put on screen was a simple error of equipment operation, but still, where did they even obtain this image? Well, Mie Terebi clarified that on their own Twitter account following the incident. It seems like a video intended for yesterday's news got misplaced. I sincerely apologize for what had occurred. So, okay, this was a clip intended for a news broadcast that happened the previous day. But we still don't know where the image itself came from. Some people thought it was likely from a movie or TV show, but nobody can find such a TV show or movie. And that news footage from the day prior? Also lost. Some online users had provided valuable insight to where this footage had possibly come from. Apparently, in August of 2014, there was a haunted house event in Gifu Prefecture based around the Kuchisake Onna, a prominent ghost in Japanese folklore. Also, side note, summer in Japan is known for ghost stories and spooky stuff. Wandering forests at night in the summer is a common activity among students and young people and such. So an August haunted house does add up, in case anyone was wondering that. All of that considered, though, this lost footage has yet to surface online. Though if it does, you'll hear about it from me on my social media outlets probably. Fujigiken 001. Japanese Reddit mysteries aren't something you hear about very often, but they do exist. One notable example is the disturbing repetitive posts from a Reddit user known as Fujigiken 001. This user became active within 2017, posting the very same comment to a wide variety of subreddits that had nothing to do with the context of the actual posts themselves. One would often assume this repetitive behavior was just a bot, but the message itself was very much unlike typical spam. I faced a serious problem of human rights at Fujidagiken, Thailand. Please help me. The first post was made here in February of 2017 with an r/today I learned on a post about the discovery of a giant Buddha statue. These posts would continue to pop up in other subreddits. r/gaming, r/gifs, r/shower thoughts, r/funny, basically every popular subreddit around. On that first initial post, before it was removed by a moderator, users took it very seriously and provided contact information to appropriate authorities in Thailand. The user never did respond directly to anyone. They just continued posting that very same post in various subreddits. Some with typos, suggesting these were all typed out by hand. All posts were in English, aside from one single post in Japanese that is... It translates to Fjitagiken, I am being power harassed in Thailand. This is an example of a typo as well though, as the Fjita is likely a mistake from missing the U in the Fu character of Fujita when typing it out. These posts continued for about a month, with the final post being made on March 9th of 2017. During this time, users began researching the term Fujidagiken and a company was found. A company that had a branch in Thailand. Those who connected the dots did not see this as a simple troll or copy pasta, assuming this user was a Japanese employee of the company who was being harassed and in a dangerous work environment, possibly against their will. Upon looking up reviews for the company on Google, I found a lot claiming the same things that Fujigiken 001 had. Though, keep in mind, these comments are predominantly in English with just a few in Thai, and many are likely people who heard about the company through the Reddit posts. It is also worth mentioning that when I myself had checked, the earliest reviews were only 1 year old. Because the original Reddit posts are almost 6 years old now, many reviews have been removed. By the way, there are 2 other companies who have been suggested to be the company itself. Companies named Fujita and Giken, respectively. The theory that some have with this is that these 2 companies may have formed some kind of partnership at some point. In addition, this account has also been found, and it's thought to be the alt account of Fujigiken 001. This account was suspended at some point. As of 2024, there have been no updates. This could have either been a troll or genuine request for help. I personally hope it's the former. The disjointed face and the lost commercial it comes from. A 2011 YouTube upload featuring a commercial of Kincho Dondo body warmers featured a brief yet disturbing image at the end of the video.
겨우 돌 몇 개 가지고 그렇게 비관할 필요가 있나? 그거 좀 없으면 어때서?
그 사금석이 없다면 넌 컴퍼니로부터 사형 선고를 받은 시가냐의 노예인들이지. 네 목에 있는 1년 번호도 엠버로드의 은혜라고 해야 하나?
People who had watched this video were intrigued by the uncanny and disfigured face at the end above all else. This clip at the end with the face was very brief, only a few frames, and had no sound. Just the graphic of that smiling, disjointed face. Most of the comments on the video are regarding this, not the Kincho Dondo body warmer commercial that the actual upload is entailing. Was this brief clip with the face perhaps added intentionally by the uploader? That doesn't seem to be the case for a number of reasons. The quality of the footage itself remains consistent throughout, and there's this green bar seen in spots on the right side of the screen that also add up. It suggests that this all came from the same ripped televised broadcast. With all of that said, it's generally believed that this clip is from a commercial or TV show. Now, who did this face belong to? Nobody was certain, but suggestions were made. Some people theorized that this was some kind of celebrity, though the most common suggestions were actually Japanese artist Taro Okamoto or Spanish painter Pablo Picasso. This art theme was quite intriguing, and many suggested that this was a commercial for an art exhibition. It was also noted that the body warmer commercial itself had aired in Hokkaido, so it would have likely been some kind of showing in that region. Another possible theory is that this was a promotional ad for the 1983 book series World Famous Paintings by the publisher Hebonsha. There's also a little hint as to when this was broadcasted at the very start of this clip. Right here when this specific logo is shown. The screen reads, Hagure Gumo will continue after this message. Please look forward to it. Hagure Gumo, or Vagrant Cloud, is a manga series that ran from 1973 all the way up until 2017. However, a film based on the manga was released on April 24th of 1982. Assuming this was one of the initial airings, that would place this commercial in April of 1982, possibly precisely on April 24th. Heck, some even theorize that the face is a part of the anime itself, but that can easily be debunked by just watching the movie. It's online. I did do that, by the way. It's not bad. It's kind of like an inverted version of Vagabond, the manga Vagabond, if that makes sense. On that note, I've also recently started reading the manga Vagabond, and it is really, really good. Anyways, as of right now, this commercial this clip is from has yet to be definitively identified or found. Iruka no yume de sayonara. Okay, before we begin with this one, there is a flashing lights warning. If you do look at the webpage, I'm not going to show it here, but if you do decide to look up this URL yourself, there are flashing lights, so please proceed with caution if that is something that would affect you negatively. Anyways, this bizarre and unexplained webpage and accompanying videos are known in Japan as Iruka no yume de sayonara, or Goodbye Dolphin Dreams. And what does that title mean? Beats the hell out of me. I personally have no idea. This webpage is a well-known do not search topic in Japan. It was actually originally intended to be within my own Do Not Search Iceberg series, but it just didn't end up making the cut because there was just so much stuff I had to go through. It's still very, very much worth talking about though, as the contents of this site are mysterious as well as disturbing. So at first glance, there isn't much to this site as a whole. Well, aside from these two 45 and 55-minute videos, that is. But in reality, there is a lot more to this site than meets the eye. There's even a full YouTube channel with a variety of videos. Oh, and when you click on this little anime girl, every click is a frame of gory little animation, and the idea is that the clicks are what's doing it. It made me feel pretty guilty though, not gonna lie. If you continue clicking on her for at least 10 times in a row, these square dots that go back and forth show up. And when you click on the dots, anything from bizarre photos and GIFs, videos, robotic voice clips, music tracks? Question mark?
정말 떠들썩하네. 이 많은 사람이 꿈세계에서 살고 있다니.
To good old manga. That very last square on the bottom will take you to her official Twitter page. On that note, please proceed once again with extreme caution if you visit the site. The fourth square down from the top has flashing red and blue lights, so please avoid it. They're very, very harsh. As you likely guessed, everything on this site involves this little MS Paint anime girl. The video title, channel title, and About Me all say the same thing. Goodbye, Dolphin Dreams! Those two long videos on the homepage are numbered though, and we'll get back into that shortly. There's also 3 links in the descriptions of each video. One to the webpage, one to a long-dead GeoCities page, here it is archived, and one to, merch? The earliest video was uploaded back in 2019, and here's what's going on with that.
私、怒らない性格。イルカの夢でさようならだよ。なんか知らない間に YouTuber とかいろいろな人が私を紹介してくれて一言言いたい。ありがとう。1円にもならないけど。광고판 인증이잖아. 元気かな？私はヤフージョースティーズが2019年3月30日終了に伴いお亡くなりになります。おお、イルカの夢、イルカの夢でさよならは FC2 へ引っ越しました。またね。
So that's neat. There's also this 2020 upload that has no words, but over a minute of impending jump scare.
휴대폰 알림 좀 꺼놓고 잠깐 쉬자. 열심히 일한 보람이 있네.
Spoilers, there's not really any jump scare. Going back to those videos on the homepage though, they're actually full music albums. Titled Goodbye Dolphin Dreams Volumes 1 and 2. And yes, they are both genuine albums. Based on what your own personal definition of music is. This girl is on SoundCloud and Discogs, y'all. People have speculated for years on the purpose of this webpage as well as who made it, but the mystery did not remain a mystery for very long. Musical credit for the albums goes to a person by the name of Atols, or ATOLS, a very well-known Vocaloid music producer who has been active in the scene since 2010. The Mushroom Burger Bumper. This is another topic of unidentified and lost media, though this one is pretty recent and hasn't gained much traction just yet. Perhaps this video can change that though? In November of 2023, Japanese YouTuber and blogger The Tubero posted this tweet, sharing a request from a viewer regarding a surreal bumper they recalled witnessing at some point between 1995 and 2000. The person who requested this topic recalled seeing these bumpers as a child on NHK E-Tere, a sister network of NHK that focuses on educational and children's programming. The bumpers were only shown in the mornings, and they went as follows. The background started out completely black, until a girl wearing either a skirt or pants hops in from the right side of the screen. The girl herself was a live-action person, but as she comes in, CG burgers or mushrooms appear on screen as platforms as she walks and hops across on them. There were apparently 2 different versions of the clip, one with mushrooms and one with burgers, possibly more. The girl hops across to the left side of the screen, hops down from the last platform to the right slightly, and the clip ends. The song that plays is described as an upbeat male a cappella. What immediately came to my mind personally when reading this was something kinda like the 90s Nickelodeon bumpers. You know the ones that go...
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon.
I could be wrong, though. It could be something completely different. Anywho, since this is a very recent tweet as of right now, not much progress has been made. There was one user who recalled seeing this bumper with loaves of bread instead of mushrooms or burgers, and another who suggested a similar bumper series NHKE had shown in the past, but as of right now, that's about it. The Cesium-san incident. Before I begin, there was a user who commented in my mass hysteria video I made last month who actually suggested this topic to me as a famous incident of internet mass hysteria. I cannot find the comment anymore, but if you are watching this, please let me know and I will put you in the pinned comments and description as a special thanks for suggesting this topic. And of course, thank you so much. This is a very, very interesting and impactful topic in Japan. So this absolutely jarring caption mishap during a live broadcast, no less, left a great deal of people in Japan both scared and offended, and for good reason. The ultimate result was the show the broadcast took place upon being cancelled. Bikan TV was a Japanese variety show that started airing in 1998 on Tokai TV. Its time slot was every night on weekdays, and it was a staple of the network for 13 years. On August 4th of 2011, a Thursday night, the show was preparing to announce the winners of their regular Happy Mail Order giveaway. That week, they were giving away packages of handmade inaniwa udon made in Akita Prefecture. But when the broadcast cut to reveal the winners on screen, the on-screen text featured something completely unrelated and incredibly offensive. Instead of showing a giveaway for udon noodles, the screen showed a giveaway for Iwate Prefecture-produced Hitome Bore rice to, quote-unquote, the 3 people present. Below this were the names of the winners, quote-unquote, and what they had won. These names are the source of all the panic and outrage. They read as follows. Suspicious rice, won by Cesium-san. Suspicious rice, also won by Cesium-san. Contaminated rice, once again won by Cesium-san. While the screen was shown, the host continued discussing the intended udon noodle giveaway, before the on-screen error came to everyone's attention. For context, to those who are unfamiliar with what cesium is, it's a highly explosive chemical element, and it's used in nuclear reactors. I must also mention again the timing of this incident, August of 2011. Only 5 months following the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. A catastrophic natural disaster responsible for over 19,000 casualties. And Iwate Prefecture? It's a part of the Tohoku region. This screen was shown for 23 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot out of context, but showing a still image like this for that long is significantly long when sitting and watching it on screen. I myself just showed the exact screen for 23 seconds to truly show how long that is. When the show finally cut back to the host, even the reporter himself was baffled, immediately apologizing for what he described as content that was unthinkably inappropriate. As one could imagine, such a screen caused mass panic and confusion. Many assumed the rice produced in Iwate was all contaminated and suspicious. The farmers of the rice in this region were affected in a horrible and preventable chain reaction to all of this. People online discussed the topic heavily, wondering if there was some kind of conspiracy going on here. After all, why would they have that kind of text prepared on screen in the first place? Was it some kind of sick inside joke? Ultimately, Pikan TV's network officially apologized. stating it was a technical error and that the screen incorrectly showed a placeholder text without any specific meaning, reassuring viewers that there was no contaminated rice. The very next day, on August 5th, Pican TV was suspended indefinitely. It was on August 11th of 2011 that Tokai TV announced that the show was officially cancelled. This horrible broadcast error caused a great deal of regulations to be put in place throughout Japan regarding teleprompters, ticker overlays, and live broadcasts as a whole, in order to prevent anything like this ever happening again. This obscure Japan-exclusive video game has a creepypasta and a somewhat primitive ARG, if you squint, deeply rooted within its files. The lore of this one goes deep, and a lot of it is jarring to say the least, so here's a crash course on it all. This game's Easter eggs, quote-unquote, made way for a renowned urban legend that has existed online in Japan for quite some time now, decades even. And it all came about due to this incredibly buggy Japan-only PS2 game. So what's the game called? The game is 2002's Kamaitachi no Yoru 2, a sequel to the 1994 Super Famicom visual novel Kamaitachi no Yoru, which just translates to Banshee's Last Cry, give or take. Kamaitachi is... It's a Japanese folklore thing it would take way too long to get into right now, so don't worry about that for now. Maybe another video I can talk about stuff like that. The original game is very similar to the sequel, though this game differs from its predecessor in a number of ways. Notably, the various levels of cursed and equal levels of real-world controversy and conspiracy. So let's go ahead and get into all that. The game takes place in what's described as an alternate reality from our own, but in a universe where the first game exists, but there's also alternate universe equivalents of the in-game characters as well as real-world characters. I know it's confusing. This universe even features the creator of the games as a character in-game. Like the majority of visual novels, this game has different endings. As a matter of fact, in-game collectibles are obtained by getting each individual ending, no matter how good or bad the ending is. These little tokens you receive from completing each route of the game are known as bookmarks. Obtaining all of them gives you the golden bookmark, the most important item within the game. And what happens when you get the golden bookmark? Well, it's said this doesn't happen for everyone who boots up the game after receiving all bookmarks and the golden bookmark, but upon booting up the game again, you may see, this. So there's a lot to unpack here, but basically the screen gives you a series of choices, and none of them are pleasant, let's just say that. One of the options, straight out of some kind of early 2000s cursed webpage, you know, like the ones we've talked about a little earlier, one of the options is to become cursed. And these are all options you can select. It is an interface you can interact with, and when you select each one, very disturbing things happen. One of these disturbing things is a screen with dozens of clips from extremely disturbing live-action Guro films. Some of these are very obscure and underground, including the likes of Filmcore, a company known for creating some of the most heinous Guro content around. A work from Filmcore was even considered to be Saki-sanobashi for a time, so that says something without really getting into it. Oh, but there's more. a lot more. As you may have already guessed, people took to the internet and discussed this game extensively, some feeling the game was truly cursed. Beyond the in-game options available to someone playing it on a PS2, people did data mine this game and dump the files and figure out what else was hiding in there. And here's where some dark, real-world elements come into play. For, you see, some of the options on this buggy screen in-game will present a couple of concerning, and frankly unhinged, narratives. One of them involves a supposed unnamed developer for Kamaitachi no Yoru 2, somebody who, in their words, was on the credits for the game but later wiped from the credits and everyone's memory. He later claims to need going to a doctor and getting medications for the anxiety he feels from developing this game, and later says that the characters he created for this game are angry with him for him disposing of them within the story. If you go into the game files, there are a few image files that correlate with this narrative. Now, the second narrative is far more abstract and a bit confusing. It explains detailed religious beliefs and how to remove parts of your brain from your brain on your own. It's very abstract, it doesn't really explain who is talking and what they're referring to, but it does sound like somebody going through a bout of mania. The most disturbing thing about this narrative is that they constantly repeat, there is no help for becoming cursed. The two narratives, however, may be tied to an Easter egg from the previous game within the series. It mentions yet another developer on the series. This one is apparently imprisoned in Chunsoft's basement and only brought out to develop games for them. Apparently, this person had learned that Chunsoft was putting subliminal messages in their games in order to brainwash their consumers and use them to attain power. Apparently, Chunsoft wanted to get into anything from the food business to politics. It even names real-world developers for Chunsoft as manipulative people who want to brainwash everyone to play their games at least over 30 times each. The speaker claims that, in the years to come, Chunsoft would rule the world. Or at least Japan, that part's not super clear. So, did Chunsoft become the global mega-corporation monopoly that this account foresees? No. I mean, they seem to be doing fairly well, but not global superpower well. And of course, people online ate this shit up. And they have absolutely reached out to the company regarding these Easter egg shenanigans. And what does Spike Chunsoft, as they're known today, have to say about all this? Nothing. They don't even entertain any inquiries with an answer, they just kind of ignore them and move on. They do keep the lore up with these games though, and while slandering their own company with this kind of stuff is an interesting approach, it definitely puts a lot of eyes on them. Especially on, like, you know, the Japanese internet, what we're talking about in this video. And remember, Kamaitachi no Yoru 2 takes place in a universe where the developers exist, and the fictional characters do as well. But the games also exist in this universe too. So, perhaps they're slandering the Chunsoft of that universe. I don't know. There is a third game in the series, but there isn't much info on it online. I could play through the game in Japanese and scour the internet for conversation on that title though, if there's any follow-ups with this little side quest conspiracy deal. That would take a lot of time though, so let me know if you want me to actually go and do that. All that aside, I barely scratched the surface on this game and all the weird stuff going on with it. But fear not. There is a video with a lot more information on how cursed this game truly is. There's a lot more. With that said, if you want to know more about Kamaitachi no Yoru 2 and its bizarre and elaborate lore, check out Source Brew's video on the topic. Here it is. Hello everyone, and allow me to officially welcome you to the end of the video. If you're new here, this is around the time when I start reading my Patreon shoutouts. Joining my Patreon gives you access to stuff like these little shoutouts right here on screen and verbally, depending on the tier, and early access to videos and Patreon exclusive videos sometimes. So, without further ado, a huge, tremendous thank you to Gabriel, Connor McLaughlin, Jordy May, Shelfie, Bunny.
사냥개 가문은 꿈 세계의 문지기로 미리국자 체포와 같은 다양한 치안 업무를 맡고 있어. 그런데 얼마 전 범죄자들이 축제를 틈타 페나코니에 잠입했다는 제보를 받았다. 걱정 마.
감사해요.
이 정도쯤이야. 난 다른 용무가 있어서.
모두 네 덕분이야. 아니었다면 진작 잡혔을 거야. 정말 고마워. 그러고 보니
In the early 2010s, people all over the US and Europe were able to casually walk into any given convenience store and purchase illicit substances, hard ones to say the least. This led to nothing short of international pandemonium, with some wondering if it was the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. Bath salts, or known over in Europe as monkey dust, are what they have come to call designer drugs. They were called as such because, in order to hide their true nature as a hardcore drug, the designers would often brand the goods as either bath salts, cleaning powder, plant food, potpourri, or all manner of different products. Given their appearance of white, powder-like little granules, one might find those labels believable. They would then slap a sticker on that would read, "Not for human consumption," in order to create a little bit of plausible deniability, and hopefully avoid any sort of prosecution while dealing drugs in gas stations, convenience stores, and over the internet. These products first came to be in around the year 2009, but it wasn't until 2010, 2011 that they really exploded in popularity, usage, and memes. Calls started pouring into US and European poison control centers as people went to their local convenience stores and gas stations to pick up their products and give them a try. After all, if they're legally, openly sold in shops, I mean, how dangerous could they be? I mean, they were easier to buy than a simple can of beer. Well, the answer to that question is very. In 2010, the number of calls to US poison control centers involving bath salts was around 300. In 2011, however, that number ballooned into an astounding 6,000. If one were to ingest the designer drugs, they would face all manner of concerning symptoms. Headaches, nausea, chills, heart palpitations, paranoia, and even anxiety/panic attacks. If one who were already susceptible to psychotic conditions were to ingest, smoke, snort, inject, or otherwise administer the dangerous substance, it would tend to send their pre-existing disorders into overdrive. It wasn't unusual for people to experience hallucinations, delusions, and erratic behavior, and that's putting it lightly. The first incident to really bring bath salts into the forefront of the public conscience was an incident known as the Miami Cannibal Attack, or more casually, the bath salts zombie. This was when, on May 26th of 2012, a man named Rudy Eugene attacked a homeless man on the MacArthur Causeway in Miami, Florida. The entire incident, which was caught on tape, became broadcast on news channels not only throughout the US, but internationally as well. The attack started when Rudy accused the homeless man, Ronald Popo, of stealing his Bible. He then beat him until he lost consciousness, tore off his pants, and most shockingly began to bite down on his face. Rudy began to eat away at the unconscious man's face, ultimately biting off most of his face above the beard line, including eating his entire left eyeball. The whole attack left Ronald completely blind, but surprisingly alive. The savage assault didn't end until the Miami PD arrived and shot Rudy on the spot. Police initially believed that bath salts were involved, given the pure psychopathy of the carnage they had seen. They couldn't believe that any average sort of psychosis could have led to such a brutal scene without some sort of intoxicant being involved. But toxicology tests came to show no drugs in Rudy's system aside from cannabis. This is where a bit of controversy began. Some would claim that this was a sign that bath salts weren't involved at all, while others would claim that the standard testing wouldn't have revealed the chemicals in bath salts in the first place. Regardless, this became the most well-known bath salts-related crime and brought the designer drugs into the spotlight. Whether or not this case really involved the substance, many others have been proven to. One of the most interesting cases of a bath salts-related crime involved the arrest of a 35-year-old woman named Tracy Mabb. At 5 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, Tracy walked out into the middle of a highway in Pompano Beach, Florida, and pulled up her shirt to show her bare chest. She didn't stop there, pulling off her pants as well and showing passers-by the full set of goods, front and back, as she spun around in an intoxicated stupor. Motorists were rubbernecking as the naked woman posed and danced throughout the street, leading to danger in more ways than one. When police officers arrived, she refused to stop posing her nude body in the middle of the speedway, telling the officers, quote, "I don't give a fuck," when they told her that what she was doing was illegal. The police threw cuffs on Tracy and arrested her then and there. It was immediately very clear that she wasn't completely coherent. Either way, she was taken in and booked. The police took a mugshot that has become nothing short of legendary, painting a clear picture of the results of abusing this particular substance. While it was initially widely reported that she was on bath salts at the time of the crime, the police never did come out with a specific confirmation. Regardless, she was held in jail on a $600 bond while the internet laughed off the entire incident. Miami wouldn't be left with only one bath salts related incident, not by a long shot. One summer day, a man named Shane Schuler went into a local park on 19th Avenue, a park notably located directly behind the North Miami Beach police station. He stripped down, removing all of his clothes, and laid down on a park bench. This was when a woman and her daughter entered through the park at the 20th Avenue entrance when they saw Shane lying there, naked on the bench. The mother said that he was completely naked with his junk on full display. This was when she tried to walk past him and out of the park, but Shane stood up as she came into his vision, exposing himself fully to her toddler. This was when Shane looked the kid straight in the eyes and said, chillingly, "Come here, little girl, I want to stick it in you." Needless to say, the mother grabbed her daughter and fled the scene. Luckily, Shane never did get close enough to even touch them. Being right behind a police station, it wasn't long before the police were on the scene and arresting him. Upon arrest, they searched his clothes and found his wallet, containing both his ID and, as you may expect, bath salts. In court, Shane explained that he was indeed using the drug when he began to feel unbearably hot and removed his clothes in order to cool off in the fountain. Feeling this overwhelming sense of heat is a notably common side effect of the drug. Surveillance camera footage from the park proved the mother's story to be correct. Shane was soon hit with various charges related to lewd activity and exposure. Bath salts related cases weren't relegated to Florida by any means. It was becoming an international issue for sure. One of the more memorable cases took place in New York City. It all started when two teenage boys were playing basketball outside of their home, only to see a middle-aged looking woman, Pamela McCarthy, age 35, come rolling down the stairs leading up to her second-floor apartment. With the two buildings sharing the same parking lot, the boys were able to get a good view of what was happening as they saw this woman tumble down the stairs, rolling over her 3-year-old son, landing on top of him. She stood up, with her arm around the young boy's waist. Despite having just wiped out onto the concrete, she stood up as if nothing had happened at all. She immediately began to argue with her boyfriend, Jason Williams, who was already outside. Then she locked eyes with one of the teenage boys, showing a spark of anger and shouting, "You better get out of here, you nasty F-slur." That was when the boy dropped his basketball and ran upstairs to tell his dad what was going on. Pamela started to chase the boy, but he was able to get her lost behind a parked car and create some distance. Pamela then gave up, instead walking over and sitting down next to her young son, choosing to begin choking him instead. Hands around his neck, she began to spin in circles and laugh. The teenager called 911 immediately as soon as he got inside. Pamela then ran back up the stairs of her apartment. When she came back out, she was completely naked. She picked up her child and threw him down onto the ground. Her boyfriend scooped the boy up and ran across the street to a nearby convenience store. Pamela ran after him, stopping in the middle of the street. She then came back to her apartment building and began to climb back up the stairs, only getting about halfway up before she fell all the way back down to the ground, landing headfirst onto the concrete. She sat up, calmed down for about a minute, and began to attempt the stairs again. She got back into her apartment one more time, this time coming out with a pit bull, only to roll down the stairs once again. Just as she did with her son, she landed on top of the dog and began to choke him as well. This all took place over only about 5 minutes. This was when the first police began to show up. Pamela began to growl at them as they approached her. When they got close, she attempted to bite one of them. They sprayed her with some pepper spray, but it had absolutely no effect. Still having her arm around the dog's neck, the police officers tried to pull her off, but it couldn't be done. This was when one officer warned her that he would tase her. She didn't care, so he fired once. As with the pepper spray, it had no effect. Pamela didn't even flinch. Trying again, he pressed the taser up against her back and fired. She finally let go of the dog, and this was when a trooper was able to slap some handcuffs on her. She fell onto her stomach as the cop put his knee on her back to hold her down. Little did they know, Pamela was just recovering from heart surgery when she decided it would be an opportune time to try the drug. She went into cardiac arrest shortly after and was rushed to the hospital where she ultimately passed away. Her boyfriend said after the fact that he had known of her history of drug abuse, but he had never seen her like this. Many times in the past, he had tried to get help for her, even trying to get her own mother to do something. This grandmother then took custody of Pamela's son, who was luckily treated with only minor injuries. Down in Georgia, a bizarre case took place that would do nothing to help the currently spreading rumors that bath salts were leading to a cannibalism epidemic, with some even saying that they would lead to the start of the zombie apocalypse. On an average day, some patrons were hitting some balls at a golf course when they saw a young man, Carl Laventure, jump out of the woods completely naked as he began to run around the Atlanta golf range. He picked up a club from the ground and began to wave it around his head as he screamed. Police were called. Once they showed up, they attempted to subdue the man, but they couldn't. This was due to what they themselves called his superhuman strength. When that failed, they turned to the pepper spray. This also left him completely unfazed. He didn't even attempt to wipe it off or even close his eyes, leaving them wide open, red and bloodshot as he continued to battle the police. Concerned, they upped the ante and pulled out the tasers. The first shot did knock Carl down to the ground, but it only stopped him for a mere moment before he stood back up and continued his attack. One officer said, "We had to tase him approximately 5 more times on the scene to get him down. It took several officers to hold him down to get him cuffed." A video clip was recorded once Carl was finally on the ground. He was face down, naked, and mumbling incoherently. He began to state that he was going to eat the faces off of the officers. Between gibberish, curse words, and nonsensical babbling, he threatened to eat even more of the golf course patrons. He then rambled about Tupac and Biggie before he started to make animal noises before moving on to more threats. He attempted to look up at the officers, saying, "I'ma eat you. I'll eat you. I don't want to eat you, but I will." The police were able to take him under control and haul him out to a nearby hospital. Unfortunately, he wasn't finished. He lashed out and attacked one of the nurses on site, causing another brawl with the police. His behavior was quickly linked to bath salts as well, only further bringing the designer drug into the spotlight. The chaos spread all the way to Houston, Texas. This was where a woman named Stephanie Dillard was driving along the road with her 3 children before she came to crash into a bus. All 3 of her kids, aged 16, 12, and 5, were left with minor injuries but fortunately survived the collision. Stephanie, instead of caring for her kids, instead began to strip off all of her clothes as she ran across the street into a nearby CVS. Upon entering the store, she quickly made her way over to the frozen food section and found the ice cream. She began to ravenously consume the ice cream then and there in the store while continuing to remove her clothing. When the police arrived, she continued to eat the ice cream while attempting to both fight and evade the police officers. Eventually, she was taken into custody. She was charged with multiple counts of endangering the welfare of a child as the kids were taken to live with their grandmother. Her bail was set for $2,000. The police, once again, came to find that this case was related in large part to the use of bath salts. Up in Illinois, a man named Matthew V. Miller, upon ingesting the substance himself, jumped onto the top of a stranger's car and held onto the hood for an entire 4 miles as the driver attempted to get away. The driver was terrified of Matthew's demeanor, saying that he was out of his mind. When the car came to a stop, the police took Matthew into custody. Matthew exclaimed that he was merely trying to run away from people that were trying to eat him. Police came to find an empty vial which previously contained bath salts out near where the ride started, believing that they had belonged to him. Matthew, lucky to even be alive without major injury, was charged with possession of a controlled substance, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage to property.
키는 약 180cm, 오차범위는 2cm 정도의 건장하고
In Pennsylvania, a 31-year-old new mother named Carla Murphy had just given birth 2 days prior and was still in the hospital. The doctors, feeling concerned that something was wrong with her mental state, decided to hold her over for a mental health evaluation. When they walked her back over to her new room, she began to freak out, running off into a nearby restroom. She stripped off all of her clothes and began to roll around on the bathroom floor while screaming in confusion. Doctors attempted to calm her down, but she was unable to respond to even the most basic of questions. She couldn't even answer as to where she was. Doctors administered an antipsychotic called Haldol and brought Carla to sit on the bed. She continued to flail around and yell at the staff. Eventually, she decided to make a break for it and run towards the door, pushing through a group of nurses and security to do so. The hospital security eventually brought her back to the bed and laid her down, but she shot back up one more time and punched a nurse in the face. She then kicked an officer and tried to bite him. She was held down until the Haldol finally put her to sleep, horse-kicking a nurse in the chest one last time as she faded out. Police came out to the hospital and arrested Carla when she came to. Investigators found a dismantled ink pen in her purse containing what appeared to be a white substance tightly rolled in medical tape with Disco written across. Disco was the name of a specific brand of bath salts that was in circulation at the time. She was taken into Blair County Prison on a probation violation and an outstanding warrant. She was soon released and given her freedom once again as the hospital police declined to press charges. After the incident, a caseworker visited her home and, upon getting permission from Carla and her boyfriend, began to look around. This led to police conducting a full search, finding needles, plenty of tinfoil, broken bottles containing brown residue, and, of course, bath salts. Carla's boyfriend admitted that she had a problem with the substance, but he had thought that she stopped using it after they previously had issues with her actions. In the end, both he and Carla were charged with various paraphernalia offenses. Out in Ohio, Vandalia to be specific, one family had quite the weird bath salts experience. In November, an 11-year-old boy came home to find a 44-year-old man, Terry Trent, sitting on his couch and watching TV. The boy had never seen this man before. The boy screamed out to his mother, who was next door with the neighbor. This was when Terry stood up and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'll get my things and go." The mother called the police and screamed for the neighbors to come and help. She came over to get her son to see that candles were lit, the TV was on, and to her surprise, a Christmas wreath had been placed on both the front door and the garage door. She then went inside and was shocked to see that the drugged-up intruder had actually put up all of her Christmas decorations inside as well. Rather than getting into the criminal spirit, it seems that Terry had been taken over by the holiday spirit instead. Christians may call this a Christmas miracle, but anyone else would probably just say that it's really weird. When the police came out, they caught Terry and found that he had a pocket knife on his possession, noting that it appeared he had been abusing bath salts. According to the police, he had a long history of drug-related charges against him. Terry was charged with burglary and taken into the Montgomery County Jail. New York State clearly had its hands full with the epidemic. The bath salts cases weren't isolated to New York City by any means, with a smaller city named Utica notably having their own battle against the substance users. While there were many cases within the city, a few gained more notoriety than the others. One Saturday night, the police were called out to investigate a woman who was reported to be, quote, emotionally disturbed. Once an officer approached her, she lunged towards him, pouncing on him and tried to bite down on his face. According to the police, she was screaming that she wanted to kill them and eat them. She was taken into the hospital for a mental health evaluation. 2 days later, the same police were called to investigate yet another woman going berserk on bath salts. Once the officers showed up to the scene in which they were called, they were greeted with the sight of a 22-year-old woman in the middle of the street wearing nothing but a pair of underwear. She was foaming at the mouth, running into traffic, behaving violently, and nearly getting hit by car after car. She was screaming to anyone who may listen that her clothes were electrocuting her and that she, in her own words, had metal inside of her, whatever that might mean. She said that her skin was burning, on fire, and that she couldn't get near any metal or wires. The police had to hold the woman down and restrain her until an ambulance could arrive. She was taken to St. Elizabeth's Hospital. It turns out that she had tried to inject the bath salts into her system, but upon failing, instead decided to eat the entire bag. While you may have had the impression that these problems were isolated to the US and Europe, Canada was having its own struggle with the illicit substance as well. One night in Calgary, the police were called at around midnight to come check out a young man who was behaving very strangely. Witnesses had seen the young man, roughly 18 to 25, attempting and succeeding in hurting himself in various ways. The police arrived to see a nearly naked young man standing in an alleyway, slamming his face up against a fence repeatedly and behaving very irrationally. The man was spacing out entirely, not showing any response whatsoever to the police's commands. He was bleeding heavily from his face. It took what the police called a sufficient amount of officers to take him down. Once the ambulance was called, they had to chemically subdue the man in order to calm him down. The officers noted that he seemed to have superhuman strength and an infinitely high threshold for pain. He was taken away to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. There, doctors found that he had nearly succeeded in cutting his entire nose off. When it was found that his body temperature was abnormally high, it was concluded that bath salts were the likely culprit. In Scottsdale, Arizona, a 45-year-old man named John Brigham had gotten into a car accident. This was when he stripped naked in the middle of the road and stood on top of his car, screaming and chanting. He managed to make his way over to a woman in a Prius nearby, pulling her out of the car and successfully carjacking it. He took off down the road and crashed into a group of 5 other vehicles, causing the Prius to roll multiple times, being ejected from the car and sent flying down the road. He stood back up and then attempted to run down the road and steal another car. All the while, he was continually screaming, "The Indians are coming." The police observed John as he attempted to make his way into 2 more vehicles. In the end, 7 people were injured. One of the injured was a pregnant woman. The police finally wrangled John and took him out to jail. There, he tore off all of his clothes once again and began to scream as he banged on the walls. It was obvious that he was in some sort of drug-induced stupor, with the witnesses claiming that he had been on bath salts. He was taken to the hospital to be evaluated. John was charged with 6 counts of endangerment, 3 counts of attempted robbery, 2 counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of leaving the scene of a crash, 2 counts of driving under the influence, 1 count of robbery, and 1 count of vehicle theft. He was held in jail on a $100,000 bond. In Greendale, California, a 77-year-old woman asked a 20-year-old man, Robert William White, to stop attempting to hit pigeons with a shovel. Upon hearing this, he turned to her and told her, "I hate you and want to kill you today," before hitting her over the head with his shovel. Robert then ran over to his apartment in a nearby building and locked himself inside, hiding away for well over an hour. This was when the police were able to get a key from management and let themselves inside. He was accused of attempting to kill the old woman. However, he was completely incoherent. He didn't respond logically to anything they were saying. All he did was fight back. He told police that he was an alien and that he had been in direct contact with Jesus Christ at the time of the attack, who had pushed him to do it in the first place. The police were forced to resort to using rubber bullets and taser guns just to arrest him. When they did, they handcuffed him to a wheelchair to get him out of the apartment. While being wheeled out, Robert began to shout, "God loves you all," while holding an expression of rage to all the bystanders who were now watching. Robert was taken to a local hospital, as well as the old woman. The old woman was injured, but nothing life-threatening. She made a full recovery. Robert was found to have been drinking soda that he had filled with bath salts. In Phoenix, Arizona, one man took bath salts while driving a moving truck that he had rented. While driving, he stripped off his pants. However, in doing so, he lost control and crashed the truck into someone's home. He then fled from the scene without pants and ran off into the night. Luckily, it was 2:30 a.m. and the owner of the home was sleeping in a bedroom in the back of the home when the truck plowed through and completely destroyed the living room. Unluckily, though, his home was deemed unlivable until a good number of repairs were made. The moving truck had to be dislodged from the wreckage of the home and towed away. It wasn't long before the police found the half-naked, screaming, thrashing man and subdued him. It wasn't really hard for the police to identify the man, as he had left his wallet behind in his pants. The worst part of the story is that the homeowner did not have insurance at the time, leaving his future very uncertain. Over in the UK, they were having their own battle dealing with, well, they would call it monkey dust. One of the most well-known cases over there was that of a man in Staffordshire who climbed up on a roof in nothing but a green hoodie. Those who watched him climb up onto the roof said that he was climbing up the wall exactly the way that a monkey would. The police were called as the man trampled around the 2-story roof, endangering basically only himself. They could tell right from the beginning that the man was zonked out of his mind. Right away they knew what they were dealing with, as they had actually arrested at least 16 people on that same drug in the month leading up to this incident. Before too long, the man did exactly what they feared he would do and jumped off the roof. When he did, he ended up breaking several different bones, mainly in his legs. Nevertheless, he managed to get up and fight with the cops, who said that he had incredible Hulk-like strength and seemingly wasn't able to feel any pain. Eventually, though, he was taken in and arrested, and likely felt the pain the next day. After this incident, police in the area launched what they called Operation Disrupt, a task force that set out to deal with nothing but monkey dust. One police officer on the task force made a statement in which he iterated, "We have seen cases where we've got